What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Gotta talk a little bit more into the mic. All right, what's up? How's everybody doing today? We're going to make a feature live because it's simple enough that I can do it while also talking to a chat and not get too distracted or anything. Yeah, so basically what we're doing is when the enemies die, right now there's a particle system that goes off, like a little blue explosion, electrical looking thing, and then the toy just disappears. We have pieces of the toys that we're going to make scatter everywhere. There'll be physics objects that kind of just lay around. And then you can like run into them. But after we finish that, we're going to create a respawn where those pieces get sucked back to the location of the enemy, and then it spawns into another poof, which we don't have any enemy respawning. I think they respawn like every 30 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that in the original game. Probably every minute. But yeah, that's the plan. And so we did create an animation state for the boss. And all that does is he like goes to like a bent over. They have skeletons. We just don't have any animations. But yeah, the boss goes over. That way you know when you're allowed to attack him. So that one was required. But the others aren't fully required yet, and they're a little more difficult. Although the flying robot would probably just move his arms and his legs would dangle. We have his helicopter blade spinning because we made that a separate object that just rotates a certain amount every frame. They do respawn in the original, yes, but they do not spawn a new token, a new a coin. So, yeah. Do I remember the butt sticker? Cosmetic, you commented once. Yeah, man, I got way more suggestions for comments than I ever expected. I got thousands of suggestions. I was kind of blown away by how many suggestions I had. Some were really good. Like Mrs. Nesbit is obviously like an obvious one. The butt sticker, when Buzz's wings are out, have it say for rent, stuff like that. Like is really obvious that I didn't think of. And then there was not as good suggestions, of course, but a lot of them were really good. We have someone on our team who's just looking at toys right now for palette swaps, because palette swaps are the easiest thing to create cosmetic wise. Well, I'm not the best at teaching Squid, and so I can give some suggestions on Unreal Engine tutorials to check out. Decryption, he's a homie of mine. D3, here, I'll pull up his chat just so I know. Oh, hold on, I want to make this under this YouTube account. Okay. And let's change our scene. So this guy here does great Unreal Engine tutorials. He's a homie of mine. Him and I are friends. We've talked a lot. He also makes the dialogue and mission system that I use that was also made by Rubes. If you don't remember him, he did the Simpsons Hit and Run remake a few years ago. He's the one that really kicked off this remake and Unreal Engine stuff. To the kind of style that we do, compared to before, it was just throwing a link mesh into a random grassy field and saying it's Ocarina of Time. So I think Rubes kind of set the bar for how to do these remakes in Unreal Engine. But Decryption works with him on that system, so that's pretty cool. What possible reference to the Pixar characters? Yeah, we've had a couple of those suggested as well. The thing is, like with thousands of suggestions, obviously we can't do them all. So with that, for palette swaps, we are also going to make it unlockable where you can set the palette colors yourself. So Kyle's going to be retexturing Buzz to allow for a grayscale, and then we can set colors in engine. which would allow you to create your own color palettes as well, but we'll have set ones that could be unlocked. That's kind of the plan for that. Anyways, you don't want them to respawn. I haven't given much thought if they should or not. I mean, I don't know. They're probably easier to fight than they were. So it probably depends on like where they're at. Like the ones that fly like over platforms would probably be pretty annoying to respawn. Dry stone is good for tutorials. I actually don't know. Oh, there's another guy. It's I'm not typing anything. It's Ryan Laley. I don't know. Here it is. Yes, Ryan Laley. This guy does Unreal Engine tutorials as well, and he's pretty cool. Like I still use him to this day. Like for something, if I've never done a certain thing, I'll pull up this guy and use his stuff. Anyways, okay. Could you add cheat codes like in Toy Story 3 for PS2, like 3 times speed? I'm not sure. I mean, so there's always debug keys to do stuff like set invincibility, to transport across the map and things like that. And that's actually where like cheat codes spawned from, so the developers would have an easier time doing stuff. But yeah, so here we are in Engine. If you haven't seen like the level in a while, like there we go. It's all performant, all looks really good. The only like technical thing that's weird is the lights down here like flicker. It looks like the light just is not set up distance wise correctly, because if you see these shadows, they disappear. And it's much more noticeable when you actually enter this room in play mode because it's much darker. But I think this is like the only technical, like big technical issue. And then also sometimes there'll be like a double camera shot. But I don't know if I can get that to happen. But yeah. It all works. Oh, this sometimes will not fall either. It's like a super quick fix, but I'm going to be completely rewriting the pushing system anyways. Yeah, the furniture looks awesome, like especially in the living room. Like to get textures of like cloth furniture, and especially being like this scale, it looks really good. So I'm pretty happy with that. This table is actually like one of our very first assets. I still need to fix this light bulb too. How it's just always on. They should only turn on whenever you open your wings, and then maybe they flash. That's a shader thing, and I just literally just have not set the time to do it. That's like basically that's like all it is I just haven't sat down to actually do it. So anyways, you see the enemy that was blown up there. We're going to be spawning pieces. Well, you see the enemy just disappears. So we'll be fixing that. All right. So we have, if you look, here, we have different pieces of the enemies. So if we like open up the torso, this is what the torso, whoops, the cameras are too fast. That's what the torso of the enemy will look like. And this plastic texture is really cool. Good job, Kyle. So we have several pieces of that. We have flying robot, new meshes, parts. We have several pieces of this guy as well. Slow down the camera a little bit again. So all these pieces will be spawning. All right, let's catch up with chat real quick. Yeah, we were going for halfway between Toy Story 2 and Spyro the Dragon Reignited Trilogy, DJ. And so what that means is we kind of wanted to look almost hand-drawn, but hand-drawn takes a lot of time to make. So we kind of like did halfway between that. And so like this looks kind of hand-drawn, but it's still got some actual texture to it. it's kind of a cool thing. Like, it doesn't quite look like anything else out there. You know, it's like in the same vein as Fortnite, which is not what we're not trying to be like Fortnite, but it's in that like same vein of like cartoony, but still detailed, especially like Unreal Engine 5 Fortnite. Oh, thank you so much. It was one of your favorite games, and I'm doing it justice. I appreciate that. Well, it's not just me. You know, like Kyle is a big help. Like that guy joined back in May, and he's been with me the whole time. He's in for the long haul, so that's awesome. And just so y'all know, I will not be answering any questions or talking about any possibilities of anything related to cease and desist letters, publishing opportunities, releasing the project, putting up on BitTorrent or whatever. Like anything related to those questions, I will not be answering for legal reasons. To just put out there now, this project is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Okay. As being demotivated to work, yeah, you'll find that sometimes, like a lot of times, like probably about 90% of all Unreal Engine remakes end before anyone even gets started, or not before anyone gets started, but before too much progress is made. It can be kind of demotivating sometimes, especially like a lot of these remakes that get like 1,000 views, you know, and you spent all month, like 150 hours working on one project and one video, and then it gets like 1,000 views, and it can be kind of demotivating for a lot of people. So I get it. Anyways, yeah, we're about to go. Are you gonna do first person POV? Probably not. We'll see. Sound wise, I have most of the sounds in the music in for this level. I have more to add, but it's basically all there. Yeah, so Anna, don't know which way you pronounce it, sorry. But yes, that's what we're actually going to be doing right now, is we're going to make the pieces fly everywhere and be physics objects. And then, okay, so let's get started. So I have, we can close this and this. Okay, we have an event for enemy has died. So this is kicked off from the base enemy class. And basically what this does is when the enemy runs out of health, this tells it what to happen. So we spawn a particle system, a particle emitter at that location of where they died. So that's the blue explosion thing you see. And then we destroyed the actor, which just deletes it, which eliminates any chance of respawning unless we actually just physically spawn a new enemy. So what we need to do, and this is for the copter robot. So we're going to delete that, and we're going to, we can either have all of the pieces already on here and just deactivated, and then set them to fly. Is that what we want to do? We'll say, yeah, they could also be a particle system, but I want to be physics objects, so we're not going to do that. And so, yeah, so we're mostly doing level 1. Level 2 is being worked on at the moment, but we have made no plans publicly of actually making level 2 fully. I did a live stream adding features to it, and Kyle is interested in doing the art for the level. So yeah, anyways, so what we need is we need static objects or static meshes. Okay, that works. Yeah, so there's the body. And what we're going to go ahead and start setting stuff that we can just copy and paste this one. So we want it to simulate physics. We don't want it to, we can step up on it. It's a physics actor. I'm just curious what happens if we do this. So we're just going to spawn a bunch of these and see what happens first. All right. And then we need the... Oh, there's a bunch here. Okay, cool. Head. Leg. Leg. I think it's just arms after this. Oh, there's the blade too. Blade. Oh, wait. Whoop. Okay, and now it should just be the arms, right? Yeah, okay. That arm and then that arm. Now, these actually need to not simulate physics. We need to set them all to simulate physics. Once they actually are spawned. Until then, they are hidden in game. So that hides them from being seen by the player, but they are physically there. And then we want to set no collision. And then no, character should not step up on it. And that basically means like it can be a ladder. We do not want to enable gravity. And we want to constrain the position. If we look at the viewport, you can see like a bunch of pieces just sitting here in the middle. I was on the wrong key. So you can see all these pieces here. They're actually not going to be visible. So if we go to the scene and hit play and go up to a flying robot, they shouldn't be visible. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I didn't set them to blow up anymore. That's right. All right. So more levels for the game. We are going to be doing more live streams because I kind of committed to it, and then I stepped aside to get more progress on the game on the game done real quick. But we are going to be adding a custom level made by the community. It has been voted on. It will be a Woody's Roundup inspired level where you play as Buzz. I can't do playing as Woody because that would involve hundreds of hours of work of adding a new character, which isn't quite feasible. But this is still cool. You walk to the wall to access it. That'd be kind of cool. Try Disney Plus. Yeah, Disney Plus is probably the best place to watch it easily. I don't know if there's a specific version like the 1080p, like the Blu-ray version that's better or anything like that. I have no idea. Anyways, so now that we know that this works, we now need to, on event graph, we're actually going to add these to an array just so it's easier to go through. So we're going to drag all of these in, I guess. Yeah. We're going to add it to an array, and we're going to make this a custom variable. We'll call it pieces array. And is there an easy way to add like multiple objects? Add from an array to a set? That's not what I'm looking for. Okay. There is an easier way. I just don't know what it is. Add unique. Okay. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then I just need like a bunch of these then. So yeah, there's probably a easier way to do this then. I can make a function. So we're going to right click this and we're going to turn it into a function. And we're going to call the function add parts to array. And what's actually going to happen is we're going to click over here and turn it to an array input. Now this will mess this up. And so can you No, that's not what I want to do. Oh, there's make array, right? Yeah. Okay. This is what I need. So I didn't need the function, but that's okay. It'll make it easier to copy probably. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to copy all this. We're going to get rid of this input. Yeah. We're going to make an array, and then we're going to get rid of these. We're going to drag in our pieces array to set. Bring that. Boom, boom. Okay. I got it. Yeah, I forgot the name of it. It was make array. There it is. I really like these streams. It's definitely a lot more chill. But like I said, there's only like certain things I can do this with, because a lot of stuff I'm maybe sitting here for like a couple hours trying to figure out why something doesn't work. But I kind of already knew how to make this system mostly. So it's a little bit easier. Would be the Boot Snake Launcher. So we have the pieces added to an array now. And the reason that's important is because when we come down here, we can now just get the pieces array and do a for each loop. And this makes the code a lot easier to manage. So this will go through all the pieces and do different things. And so we can drag off this to get each individual one. And for each one, we want to enable physics. Set simulate physics. So yes, we want that to be true. And then we want to, what else did we do? We did that. We want to unlock constraints. Set constraints mode. What is this? No constraints. So that's easy. We did simulate physics, constraints, and we want to set the collision preset. Don't know. All right, what do I set collision? Set collision enabled, object type, profile type. Is that profile type? It might be instead of preset. Let's just double check everything. Hello. Pizza tongue. I'm going to assume, let's just see what object type is. No. Profile name? No. Okay, let's just see what happens. It may change automatically on the objects. We'll see in scene. Oh, we also need to set on visible. Hello. Okay, and now they should also spawn and hopefully fall everywhere. I need to make sure they're not a child of him. Okay, that works out good. I need to... Does the base enemy despawn? Because I don't think he should have despawned. Blueprints. We got... Okay, no. Oh, AI. There it is. Okay. This is the base enemy. Enemy has died. No, it doesn't do anything. Interesting. I don't think he's supposed to die. So there's enemy has died. That's the interface. And it's parented to that. So that's okay. They did not fall everywhere though. So that's something to consider. Confuses me. I screwed this up so bad if I was making this. Hey, it's a little complicated at first, but it ain't so bad. You get it pretty quickly. For this guy specifically, I need to turn off his sound. We'll just do it after the for loop is done. So this is after it goes through all the enemy pieces and spawns them and everything. We can turn that off. We need to make sure that the actual copter is hidden in game. So that will despawn that rotating piece. But we don't want to destroy it because we want them to respawn. Oh, so his AI doesn't go to on death either, so that's something I need to fix. So his AI behavior is right here. I need to click on the behavior tree too. Okay, cooldown, and so I need to add a to the blackboard. Okay, so what this is a, hold on. Make sure I don't show my IP address on the server. Okay, so what this is this is a bunch of variables that the AI keeps track of for its actual states, and this is the actual behavior. And so every frame, it'll see where it's at and what it needs to do. So on this left side, it'll follow a path. If it sees me, it will chase me, and then it will shoot once it's in range and after a timer. But we need to add one more here. I don't remember what these are called. Composite node? I don't remember. Let's just copy and paste. Okay, so we got that. We want to do, that doesn't matter. Just if enemy has died, then we enter this state. Yeah, check out selected. And then for here, we actually need to add another variable, which you do by right clicking and adding a decorator for the blackboard. Yes. Okay. And here we want to see if the player, if the player has not died, then it can go here. And if the on here, also if the enemy has not died. So this basically forces if the enemy has died, it will come here. And I need to remove that sequence. I guess it doesn't matter, right? Okay, we'll just leave that there. All right. The room that's textures. Yes, the floors have lava as a secret. There is a game that one of my friends is making, and they're adding a hard mode, I believe, of the floor is lava to their game. So that's kind of fun. It wouldn't be the craziest thing to code either, actually. You basically just set a bunch of instant death triggers everywhere. So, and then once you enter a mode, that's like the only difference if it spawns the triggers on start or not. And you have to change like the player start position too, because then that's slowly start on the ground, but that would be easy as well. Okay, so now the enemy should not be allowed to shoot anymore. Let's add another decorator here just in case it needs it. Here, if you are not set for enemy has died. Okay, so now once he dies, he should not be able to shoot at me anymore. Let's see if that's true. Hey! Oh, I didn't set it. So on the copter robot on death, we need to get AI controller. I don't remember. Okay, here. Okay, here's a little cheat. I'm just gonna copy what I have here because I don't actually remember. I didn't actually remember all of these exactly. So, but I can talk through it because it's really easy to talk through. So basically, we are getting the AI controller, which has this behavior on it, this behavior tree, and then we can get a specific variable name here, which it was enemy has died. And then we can set it to a specific value. So if he's died, we can set that to true if it actually finds what exactly we're looking for. Thank you, man. That's very nice of you to say. So right now we're only dedicated to level 1. We have done work to level 2. It is unclear if we will progress to that point or not. It'd be cool if we do, though. I'm not against the idea by any means. Okay, so now it shouldn't shoot at us anymore. What's cool is once we finish this guy, we can copy a lot of our work over to the jumping robot as well. Okay. He's dead. Good deal. Okay, yeah, he doesn't shoot at us anymore, so that's super important. We can set a timer to respawn him. That's okay, but first, I want to get these physics objects flying everywhere. So, what happens if on all of these guys, we just don't lock position? What happens? Are the pieces going to fall? We also need to enable gravity too, huh? So, copter. We also need to set this hidden in game. So not just the blades. Okay, so that's the actual mesh. So that's the actual body. It may be easier to just spawn these, but I kind of don't want to. But it might be a lot easier just to make them physics objects that are by themselves. But we'll roll with this. If this works, then good. If not, then we'll just make separate objects, and they'll make it probably a little bit cleaner on the code because that can just spawn the stuff. Well, the mesh didn't disappear, but that's all right. Okay, so what we're going to do is, yes, we will do that and add parts to array. Yeah, that's all good. So instead, we're going to just spawn objects. So we need to create a specific blueprint. Let's see, blueprint for enemies. So what a blueprint is basically an object that has some code on it. So we can set BP, the name as BP, enemy piece. And now for this, we need a static object. And static does not mean that it's like not movable in this point. It is still movable. It's just the specific place. And keeping the name static mesh makes sense. Oh, I just got a text. Let me make sure my wife doesn't need me. No. Okay. So we have the static pieces here. We're going to set the static mesh as there. This is just, we can change this easily. Let me set my phone to silent because my friends keep texting and it's vibrating my whole desk. So this piece here, and then we'll just go ahead and set simulate physics on here and make it a physics actor. And then if we spawn a bunch of these and set their meshes to what we want, that'll probably work better. Copter enemy. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. Yes, we want to delete it. Okay, so now actually, we're still going to use an array, but we're going to create a variable of BP underscore enemy. Or no, we want the static mesh that we're going to swap to. So instead of that, we're going to choose static mesh, object reference. Okay, and now if we compile this, okay, it's going to get mad at me. Let's disconnect this. And the error goes away so that we can actually compile. And now we can go through and we can right click that to make it an array. And now we can go through, we can add all the pieces here. So this will work out. Can you just drag? Because that'd be, oh no. Copter robot, no, it's in the pieces section. Parts, okay. Can you just drag stuff like this? Sick. Okay, so we have all our pieces here. So that'll work out. And then we need to a remake of Lego. I never played Lego Island. We were talking about Rubes earlier, who did the Simpsons Hit and Run remake, and he started a Lego Island remake. However, I think he was being very successful with his Unreal Engine plugin for dialogue and quests, and he's expanded way past that now to like building like a whole framework for getting a game started. So kudos to him, but unfortunately the Lego Island remake was a victim of that, which I don't blame him for. Just interesting to note. So we have our mesh pieces here. So basically we want to go through here. So we have an array of all these static meshes now, and then we want to spawn actor from class. And this will have to be changed slightly once this works in order to get the respawn working, probably. Or we can just delete these. Regardless, we'll have to keep track of these as a variable. Lego Island rebuilt. What did I call it? I called it... enemy piece. Okay. So we have enemy piece. We're going to drag off here. We're going to set static mesh to this. I'm trying to let go of it. Okay. What do you have to have? Pawn responsible for damage. What are you oh, transform. Get actor location. Is that what it needs? What does it give me an error for? Okay. So yes. So the transform is basically your position, rotation, and scale. So we can get our actor location and we can set it to this location. But the rotation doesn't matter, and the scale should be 1. It should match whatever the actual enemy is. every time. No, the programming's not too bad. One of the benefits of making a remake of a 90s game is that typically the programming is not too difficult to make these days. There are some exceptions of stuff that just likes to be a little bit difficult, but typically everything's kind of easy. Whoa! Oh, that was awesome. All right. They're kind of inside of each other, but there we go. So they fly everywhere, but that's probably fixable. I don't know. Is there anything crazy here, like mass scale and weight and stuff? What happens if I set this to like 100? Okay. So a massive 100, you can't push them, but we're on the right track. They don't just fly everywhere now. Make it despawn after a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually like suck them back to the location of the enemy, and it'll be like a little explosion, and they'll appear again. So that's how the respawn will work. That's the plan anyways. I can make them despawn. Although having just these random physics objects laying around, it's not that many. And so it wouldn't actually be like a performance hit to do it. Even though it sounds like, hey, just having a bunch of physics objects in the scene could cause problems. That's not necessarily true. I can almost get stuck in this. Cool. I'm glad to know that like basically works. I can't push this thing, and I don't really know why, but there it is. It's just kind of difficult. Let's set their scale like even lower to like 10 or something. Yeah. So it is weird that you just like even in the original game these obliterate the pieces, because I was originally not going to add that when people asked, and my last playthrough of the game I noticed that they like fly into pieces still. And I was like, that's interesting. So I was like, oh, well, if they're okay with it then you know. I'm going to say my theory on it is that this is a retelling of the events of the movie from the perspective of Rex. And so he is exaggerating everything. And so there were no enemy toys. Rex just made it all up. There we go. Easy way to get around lore discrepancies and weirdness, like toxic being everywhere in the room downstairs. I was not setting him hidden. That's why. I also need to set the character to not capsule component. Set collision enabled. Will this just make the enemy fall through floors and stuff with gravity, I'm assuming? We're going to say no collision. But we're also going to set gravity disabled and see what happens. First, we're going to make sure not to hide. Oops. We're going to make sure that the body can still be seen, because I just fixed that on this, but before I fix it, well, he doesn't go flying everywhere. Well, I still hit him. So I wonder if the mesh has collision. Does the mesh have collision? It does. for character mesh. So what we can do with that is do the same thing for this. Set collision enabled to no collision. And gravity shouldn't be enabled for the mesh anyways, because it follows that little capsule around. All right. There aren't that many pieces laying around gaming, and so it shouldn't be a problem. Like if there were like a bunch of enemies to where I had to deal with like what's it called, object pulling, where you like move enemies around throughout the whole scene as you do stuff, then yeah, I probably obviously would at that point. But with only like from here to here, that's like 10 enemies or something, 12 enemies in the level. It's not really a huge deal. It ain't that bad. I got stuck in him, probably because his blades. Okay, so this all works. So I can actually just set this hidden now, but I also need to. The blades probably shouldn't have collision anyways. Do they have collision? Yeah, we're gonna just say no collision on those anyways. It's typically a bad idea to have collision on something rotating, because it'll be like a whole thing. Broken apart and staying there. How many of these corpse piles generated until they disappear? Don't plan on them disappearing, but they will respawn, as I said. You probably answered that for you, but let's go through. Yeah, you caught it live. I don't do these very often, but I would like to do a few more, because people seem to enjoy them, even like when it's kind of like laid back like this. Heck yeah, that looks so good. All right. I was originally thinking I had to put the pieces like where they were at. So like the right arm had to match up with the right arm. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Also, I was playing off of my OBS screen instead of the actual window that I'm playing on. Toy Story EXE and its story. I've heard of like other crazy stuff like Toy Story 0, which seems to be completely fake, but some people believe. I don't think there's a single situation anywhere where Toy Story 0 actually exists. Hey, Pizza Dog, don't post the same exact message in chat for me over and over again, okay? Oh, it doesn't crowd up for everyone else. Looks awesome. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's look at this one more time and make sure that I don't need to have the pieces where they need to spawn at. Get out of the way. Yeah, okay, that looks plenty fine. So what we're actually going to do, though, is we're going to shoot the pieces out a little bit, I think. Maybe that will disconnect them a little bit better. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, object pulling. I've done object pulling before. In fact, at my job, I created a system before that was really cool. And it was basically just an optimization system where I basically had to create a giant shipping container port with like 150,000 assets that would technically be in the scene. And I had to make it run well. And basically like everything's fake in it. I use tons of object pulling. I move objects around. I make like stacks of stuff hollow. I do all kinds of tricks like that. It's pretty fun. Thank you, Fob. Appreciate it. So we want to add force to all these pieces. So what is that called in Unreal Engine? I thought it was add force. Yes, it is. Okay. But it's trying to do that. That works. Okay. Add force. Oh, so I can just pull off of this. And we're going to clean up this blueprint in a minute because it's a little messy looking. But we want to add force. We want to add the force amount, the bone name. Doesn't matter. If true, force is taken as a change in acceleration instead of a physical force. Okay. And for this, we're going to split this up so it's 3 floats instead of a vector 3. A vector 3 is basically 3 floats where you have 3 input values, which is used a lot for location, so X, Y, Z. And we're going to apply a set. I kind of like them just falling, though. So we're going to get a random float in range. And we're going to say, like, I don't know how much force is needed. So we're going to say negative 100 to 100. And we're going to do the same thing. That actually applies the same range, doesn't it? It might. I don't know. I don't know if this like puts out, like if this is negative 10 and then this would also be negative 10 if it's applied to there. Or if it recalculates it. Whatever. We're going to do that and just see what happens. 100 may be way too much or way too little. Because I don't know what the 100 is. I think it's like way too little. All right, compile. And let's try again, see what happens. Oh, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, so they shot out still. Good deal. There we go. So that works out just fine. What was your worst project? I'll tell you right now, it wasn't my worst project to make. I don't really want to talk about that specifically, but I do want to talk about my worst project I've made, and that is on Steam. This is not me like saying to go buy it. So I do not get any money for this, just so you're aware. But this is a Steam game that I made with a bunch of classmates. And this is like the worst like finished project I made. It was basically a student project. And it was a 2D game in a 3D world. Basically a 2D enemy destroyed the 2D world and went to the 3D world, and so you're playing there. But like we had no artist, we could not get artists no matter how hard we tried. So it's a bunch of programmer art. It's pretty pitiful. But you know it's okay. This was made like 4.5 years ago, and for this I was basically the systems designer, and so I made a ton of the back end stuff. I made the full on enemy system. I made I think the teleport system. I made one boss, and I made like one level. But I was mostly the systems guy. Like anything as a system. The weapons system I completely made, for example. But the game turned out to be very boring. So, you know, it's not bad. It's just boring. Unfortunately, I'd rather it be bad than boring, but that's okay. Yeah. So we have this working well. We're not going to do the respawning yet. So now we're going to kind of do the exact same thing that we did to the copter enemy to this guy. So let's open this blueprint. Where the enemy has died. We're going to get rid of that. And we need to copy a few things. We need to do the behavior tree on the jumper robot so he can't jump. Yeah, I mean, I've had way worse projects, like way uglier projects as well, like stuff I did in school, but yeah, make it stylized, that would help. Yeah, you know, I had a professor in college because I got a degree in game design and graduated valedictorian and everything like that. But I had a professor who made Superman Returns, the Superman Returns game, not 64, the one on like Xbox, maybe Xbox 360. But he said every developer needs to make at least one bad game because you learn a lot more from making a bad game than you do a good game. And so, which is true. Bully 2, that'd be so fun. Thank you, Kirk. I appreciate that. Imagine well, DJ, going against an army of robots. I mean, that may be in the in the new movie. We'll see. Where a bunch of like an army of buzzes are like taking over, but also like tablets are like making the toys collect dust or whatever. I don't know. Whatever. So for the copter robot, we have this variable that we want to. Oh, I just copied again. That's a hotkey oof right there. And then this one. And there are ways to do this more optimally, but that's okay. Pieces array. So now we need to go to the bouncing robot and drag in his parts. Oh. I'm gonna leak all my info. Here. Okay. So we have these pieces here. So that should be everything we need on this side. So now we can copy all of this and paste it over here. Now, the proper way to do this would probably be to set the variable on the child, but make the parent enemy handle the destruction if it's going to be destroyed. But not everything gets destroyed, and so we'd have to do like a check to see. Yes. So we need the sound to stop playing. That's the copter. That doesn't matter. Doesn't have something like this. Enemy has died. That's all good. Capsule and the mesh. Okay, so all that's good. We need to go to the AI behavior too, though. Where is jumper? Okay. Good deal. Main first, so you can put all the cool skills in a resume. You know, there's also a YouTuber named Thomas Brush. He actually has like a full studio and he's made like a bunch of stuff. But he says that every developer, their first game needs to be a garbage game as well, just to get it out of the way. That's like his opinion. It's like everyone makes a bad game, so just make it your first one to get it out of the way. Yeah, unfortunately it is the best Superman game we've gotten so far. There is a really cool video. What is there? Make a game without communicating. What are these guys' names? Blackthorn Prod. We're going to shout these guys out real quick. If I can find the specific video I'm looking for. Yes. Okay, it is silenced. Okay, and basically, for this video, 5 developers on YouTube all make a game without communicating. So basically, they have the game for a few hours, and then they work together without communicating. They just send the project to the next person on the list. And so here, this is a game they made with like 4 hours a person. So like it's like basically like a full day, 24 hours of work, which is really crazy. But they made a Superman game where it's really simple and short, but basically you have to take down these rockets and then steer it back to like the boss to destroy it. It's a really cool project. Unfortunately, this is still the best. This is probably the actual best Superman game we got, even though it's basically just a tech demo. that has like some basic like mechanics in it. Well, yeah, it's because they went for a super simple art style, just because they had just a few hours to make it. Yeah. Anyways, Blackthorn Prod, they had this really cool series. I wouldn't mind going on it one day, and I'm sure they would have me on. But they don't really do Unreal Engine work. It's usually Unity, just because more people use Unity than Unreal, or substantially more. Okay, so we need to make our AI behavior tree. We need to check this out. And then we need to add a decorator to this, which is basically a variable. Check. So here, if enemy has died is not set, we're allowed to go through here. If on here, if enemy has died is not set, we're allowed to go through here. But is this what you're supposed to do? It may be. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyways, sequence, but we're going to add a decorator to this and say if enemy has died is set, then we're allowed to go through here, but it's not going to actually do anything. So what this should mean is that now, let's see if it works first try. Whoa, it works. All right. So that's pretty cool. Your PC can't run Unreal Engine, very laggy. Yeah, I had to upgrade my graphics card basically because I had a 960. This is not recent, by the way. This is like 3 years ago now. When I first started messing with Unreal Engine, I had a 960 which had 2 gigabytes of RAM, and that did not cut it. And so I upgraded to a 3060 right before the 40 series came out. So yeah, about 3 years ago now. Which game are you talking about that will look realistic? Are you talking about Toy Story or this specific project? The art direction is set. This is not changing. As far as direction goes, we're obviously going to update art here and there as it needs, but the art direction is set. Behavior trees are very confusing. And a lot of tutorials aren't helpful because almost all of them focus on stealth mechanics. But I mean, like you get it pretty quickly. Like basically you have to create these custom tasks with code. Can I open this if I click it? Yeah. And you basically execute some AI stuff. And when it's finished, you finish execute with either success or fail. And then depending on if it succeeds or fail, you can choose to go to different states and stuff. But it is pretty... you think in general, okay, so I think art direction is going to see a substantial change in favorability because realistic graphics aren't selling. Unfortunately, a lot of games are going to this like slightly cartoonish style, but not really committing, so it still looks realistic but like slightly cartoony. I want to see something bizarre, like a Psychonauts type thing. Like Psychonauts 2 is incredible. Games like No Rest for the Wicked. We need more games that look like that. Realism isn't really as enticing as it used to be because the differences in realism between 5 years ago and now is pretty minimal. Especially if you add to the fact that current games are underperforming in graphics fidelity than they were 5 years ago as well. Which is a bunch of reasons for that happening and a bunch of theories. A lot of them are wrong, but yeah. A 9070 XT for 670 recently. I am looking for a GPU still, casually, but I do need to upgrade. Anyways, both of these work now. We established. So we got him. This one doesn't roll around as easily, funny enough. He steps up on it. I wonder if I need to just turn that off to be able to step on them. Because they're probably like the perfect height to step on. Because it makes them kind of weird. Let's see. There's more enemies in here. There's a bug here that I need to fix. Basically, there's a checkpoint trigger here for the race, and the bullets think they're not allowed to go through them. So you have to go to this side to shoot the guy. Got him. Okay, there's one more up here. I don't want to enter a race. Please don't talk to me. Whoa. So there's some craziness going on if you like step on them too much. Certain pieces. But that's probably just something that can be ironed out pretty easily. Good deal. And I think there's only one more enemy down here. There's none in the basement, I think. And I think the only enemy upstairs is the boss. I would like pieces not to get stuck inside each other, though. That's like my main critique, but I'm kind of ignore it for now. That's the plan. All right. A unique art style like Cuphead? Yeah. Well, you know another style that's like becoming more popular is bendy. My son maybe. No, one of my friends showed me a game that is coming out that has that same kind of art style, and I guess that's going to kind of pop off. The bendy art style specifically, but it's unique, so for now at least, so I'll take it. Well, the Switch 2 games are not going to be $90. That's a misconception. They're going to be $80 in the US at least. There's like a rumor where like physical is going to be $90 and digital is going to be $80. That seems to not be true at all. It came from like a leak that turned out to be kind of fake. At least for America. Mexico, I think, is where the leak came from, and it may be true there. I don't know. But anyways, $80 for Mario Kart seems a little high to me. I think the game doesn't look very good. Unfortunately, I think the open world is actually a detriment to the Mario Kart franchise. And I have a lot of reasons for that, like game design wise. But if they make the open world like really engaging, then I'm down for it. Like Forza Horizon is one of my favorite games of all time. It's probably my top 20 games. And so I could be convinced to like Mario Kart World. So I'm not going to say definitively it's a bad game until I play it, obviously. But I am concerned about how fun it would be. The lighting is Lumen. I am not against baking lighting. I just don't know how to do lighting. And so I went with Lumen so I could have real-time lighting so it'd be easier for me. Performance is okay, so that works out. But yeah, I just don't know how to do lighting well. Like it's definitely my weakest point in the engine is lighting. Yeah, hey, I would make something like really simple, Squid, for your first game. Like I made a game jam game once, and I did it in like 48 hours. It was basically a marble game where you control a ball, like Super Monkey Ball, but a marble game where you control a giant sphere at the character inside or whatever. The ball rolls and you have to like get across these obstacle courses. And I had stuff like power up where you would like quadruple in size so you could go across a bridge that was basically like two poles and you had to grow to be able to like go between them or whatever. Yeah, that was like my first game jam game. I wouldn't mind making something like that again, just as like a little fun thing. But that sounds super exciting. Like, do it. So I don't want to make. Hold on, make sure. Have you thought about including game modes, like an adaptation of Buzz video game at the beginning of TS2? So that level in the TS2 movie was already remade in the TS3 game on 360 and PS3, and it's really good. And so I don't really want to make that again, because I don't know if I could do it better than them. But I mean, I wouldn't mind like adding like a flying challenges or things like that. It's just I probably won't, but I'm not against it. I should not be famous and rich. I don't want to be famous and rich. I'll be honest. Yeah, it doesn't interest me. But thank you. World free like Fortnite. Then do microtransaction skin. God, I'd rather not. Bring on the God rays. I have like the lighting's like really strong. I have thought about making it not quite so yellow, because if you got here, like it definitely looks like more yellow, in the sun, you know. But I mean, inside through these windows, it looks more appropriate. So I'll probably like keep it like it is in here, but like it's really noticeable in level 2 where it's sunset, but rich, yes, famous, no. So I wouldn't mind having a secure amount of money. I wouldn't want to be filthy rich, but I wouldn't mind having, you know, a few million just to be able to do whatever I want for the rest of my life. It's like an aiming reticle when Buzz is shooting. Yes, there is one, and even our UI guy made a new aiming reticle, and I just have not put it in the project. So I just have this guy here. But the whole aiming thing needs a complete rework anyways, because the aiming has had like just a few hours of work on it at all. And so it's pretty stiff is how I describe it. Like to try and like aim exactly where you want. I'm not a mouse and keyboard guy already, but even on my controller, which this works on controller too, I just am not doing it right now, then it unfortunately just feels really stiff and hard to control. Let me make sure I catch up before we get back to anything. Those clouds, bro. They are, I believe this level is static clouds. Yeah, I don't even think they're moving. Here, we can check actually. Yeah, they're static clouds on this level. But you can have volumetric clouds, and those look more realistic. But since you're inside on this one, I did it like that. But if we go to like level 2, I'll just show this to y'all. Like this is what it looks like right now. There's a foliage in here right now. I just threw it. We're doing a foliage test to check performance on with grass everywhere. And this is with like 65,000 pieces of grass. Obviously, performance seems to like not be taking a hit at all, which is pretty cool. Like it seems like foliage is like really optimizing this. What is my hotkey for? It's not that. Okay. Here, let's just. I can't remember what my hotkey is, because I actually have a debug key for this. So in engine, it's getting about 60, which means in an executable, I would probably get between 90 to 150, depending on what's going on. Anyways, yeah, so we have like moving clouds here, though they're not volumetric clouds still. They're still just 2D dynamic. But volumetric clouds are like actual 3D clouds, which you can see like look really good like when you're high up. But like from where we're at, it probably wouldn't matter. Let's see. We were doing 2D dynamic. I don't know. Actually, it may it may be worth going volumetric. It depends on the performance hit. But yeah, so you can have like actual volumetric clouds. If I had to guess why Disney's not struck this down, it's because it's for education and entertainment purposes only. And I've made it clear in the description that this game is not for release, and I've encouraged people to buy the PS4 and PS5 version instead. But there's a big difference in making videos about this and actually releasing it. So I know for a fact, without a doubt in my mind, that Disney is aware of the project. I think as soon as I think if I was to release it, the day I've released it, it would be shut down. So that's my theory. That's not actually a terrible idea, but you'd have to find a controller input that works for it too. People really want that first person mode. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I can find some, because the only reason people want first person mode is because of the reflection, and so I'm gonna see if like maybe there's other ways I can add it in. Howard, his light is on because I turned it on and on the emissive texture, and I never set up the shader to only turn it on when the wings are deployed. That is an easy fix, but there's like just a bunch of stuff that are easy fixes that I need to do, unfortunately. So that's why. Let's go back through these real quick. Okay, brown electrons. Hi, Aaron. Hello. Yeah, well, it seems like they're allowing this. They have not spoken one word to me. They probably don't want to associate with me, so they have plausible deniability if they decide to shut down later or something like that. But yeah, this is level 2 with the foliage test. The foliage is pretty cool. Let's turn on. Oh, the foliage doesn't light up with the emissive lighting though. Is that an easy fix? Instanced foliage. Is there? Okay. So we go through all those, and I believe it's lighting channel 1. And let's see if this lights up. This is not what we were doing today. I just... It does? Oh, I have a red light on him. That's why. Okay. Yes, because I changed his light real quick for the demo, for the trailer I made. So that's why the light was like, why the grass was turning a weird color. Characters... Let's set this back, and then we'll get back on the enemies like we were planning on doing real quick. If that sounds great to everyone else. Not shield light. We want the point light, and we want this to be like a green. I've been needing to change this back for a while. Okay. There we go. It kind of works. And the way his glow in the dark works actually is when you enter certain areas, it turns on automatically. I just have a debug key that turns it on as well. You'll notice the grass is not interactable. I don't know what performance will be like if I make it interactable or not. That's what this level is doing right now, is we're literally just testing this stuff to see performance. Because adding new meshes won't actually change performance that much, because we go for a mid poly art style. And so it basically has 0 performance hit for any model we add in here. Of our style. Okay, so let's go back to the first level though. You also see we have a level select. I'm not going to open this because the chance of seizures for anyone who may suffer from that, because I need to fix stuff in there. But I'll go to Andy's house. Well, to be fair, they Pizza Dog, they do sell the original game on PS4 and PS5. So they, like, unlike a lot of times, they actually do have financial incentive to possibly shut this project down if I released it. Because they are actively selling something. I think you can make that argument for something that's not actively being sold, or any version of it ever being sold, but this does have a version of it being sold. So it makes a little bit, like, a bit more sense for them to strike down this if I was to release it, to give them credit. And also, yeah, the protector IP, there's all kinds of reasons to shut this down. So there's brand confusion. So if this looks like a real product, they don't want to associate with it, then they could shut it down. Or brand confusion is also if the consumer could be confused and thinking that I'm trying to pass it off as real. That's another reason. Also, if I was to add in some not safe for work stuff into this, they would shut me down immediately as well, without question, because that would cause damage to the brand. So, yeah. Also, Pizza Dog, please stop adding in the message of the floor being made out of lava. I've seen it. Okay. Thank you. So Nova, the way this works is I'm not monetizing the game or the project. I'm monetizing the education and entertainment value out of it, which is an important distinction. So that's how that works out. You had ads. I don't know if I turned on. Yeah, so, I will say the camera lag is more significant on the mouse as well because I can like whip it around. So on controller, it feels much more natural. This game feels best to me on a controller, but I may be subjective since I prefer controller inputs anyways compared to mouse and keyboard. So yeah, at least yeah, and it's a great portfolio piece, DJ. Like an incredible portfolio piece. Like this would help secure almost any job I would want if they got to the point of looking at my portfolio. And there wasn't someone else who had something better, of course. But this is a great portfolio piece. So that's an important distinction as well. Okay, so we have the enemies and their pieces. We want to add a respawn for one. And then I also... yeah, Nova, there's some... copyright law is confusing. Like, that's why you're able to make film reviews, even though you don't own the IP. Aqua, hello, nice to see you here today. Really above the stairs and jump to the shelf on the living room wall. That would be amazing. I don't think you can quite make it. I could make it to where you can make it because I have code for that. I need to adjust the physics on this anyways because it's a bit too fast for one. You can, but it's a little weird. Like if you jump off near the end of the grind rail, then yeah. So you can't do that. I'd probably try to make that feel more like you can do it on purpose rather than how it looks now. But yeah, it does work. Yeah, I need a Pizza Planet truck. If the game goes further along, then it would probably go on the Al's Toy Barn level outside the doors. Is there anywhere else it would be? I'm not sure. Oh, you meant the other shelf? Like from there? Make sure I understand this right. Can you go through the railing above the stair? Oh, the railing. Yes, I was thinking grind railing. Okay, yes, you can. But you can't reach the other shelf without some shenanigans on your jumps. Like I usually can't do it, but I'm also not really a gamer. You can sometimes get on parts of that shelf, but it's hard to climb from here. You might be able to mantle that. Oh, I have the mantle. Whoops. Ignore the placeholder dialogue camera. But yes, you can, and yeah, above the recliner. Yeah, it's easy to get up there. It's cool to see success stories and making it. How much math do I know? I was really bad at math in school, and so, but I've learned a lot. Like all my learning from math and science and physics basically came in the last like 10 years. Like I'm 31 now. And so, all of it came after, and I didn't start college until like I started going to university at like 23 or something, 22, 23, something like that. I believe 23. And, so yeah, I got out of high school. I hung out for a little bit, worked some retail, and then went back to school and started learning this stuff. So I know a bit more than I knew in school, for sure. the slideshow cutscenes. I've never played the N64 version. I need to sit down and play it. I've only played the PS1 version, the PS4/PS5 version, and the PC version. I also have never played the Dreamcast version either, but I don't have a Dreamcast and I probably never will, unfortunately. It's still satisfying. I'm glad I can do that for you, Aqua. How did you go about your models and textures? That is a great question for Kyle. But I can give like a basic rundown of it. Here, let me pull up a... We're going to get back to coding in a second. Sorry. Let's look for a good example. Okay. We'll bring this over here. Make sure I can still see it. Yes. So this is a very basic model that Kyle made, which is just a lamp. And basically you start here, you topology it, which is where you create the actual mesh layout and stuff inside a Blender. You create the shape and everything. And then you actually texture it. And you UV map it as well, which is basically how you tell a model how to apply a texture when the texture is flat. But yeah, I mean, this is like a super basic model, but most of that belongs to Kyle. I know like how the stuff is made. I'm just not capable of actually doing it well. But a lot of the times, another important distinction is that I do create like a set of tasks for Kyle to do. And if there's ever anything special, I will have it here as well. So what's something that I had something special on? Yeah, so here, this power up box, we have a closed state of it, but we don't have an open version. So he's working on this at the moment. But basically, I add text here of like some requirements. Sometimes I'll have some extra tasks, things like that. We can place that in the level. So this task is done. Good job, y'all. Pull it up here to the top. But yeah, this is our task board where we have all of our tasks at. So everything for level 1 is in here. That's all of my tasks basically. There's tons in there, and then here's all of like the art tasks. Anyways. Yeah, so almost every single thing is handmade. There's a couple things that we did get assets for, but only if it's not something that Kyle specializes in. So like for instance, our particle systems, like where we shoot stuff, like that obviously is a purchased asset. The enemies exploding, that little like electrical field thing, that's a purchased asset. And also the copter robot shooting at me, it's a purchase asset. Woo. Cool. So yeah. If there was a way to have infinite RAM. Well, RAM isn't really the issue with video games anymore, unless you're talking about VRAM. It's not really the concern anymore. We can actually, with Unreal Engine 5, you can basically have an infinite number of polygons in a level now as well. Like polygon count isn't the performance hits anymore. It's always lighting and texture/material count. So we've made a little bit of money on YouTube. And Kyle does get paid. We have a deal set up with the revenue basically, and he says that he doesn't need money, but we've had and he's like very kind about it and everything, but we've had a deal in place around all this. So yeah, and Kyle has put in just as much work as I have, so that's why it's basically like us splitting it between the channel income. And then of course we have expenses as well, like business expenses, unfortunately, and then also like server costs, things like that. So the server where we work together and we store everything, so we can both work on the project, because he has access to the Unreal Engine project as well. All that's purchased. Okay, so next we're going to add spawning tokens when an enemy is killed. We've not done that yet. And surprisingly so. So let's look at this guy here. And I think we're going to put it on the test enemy because it's, yeah, we'll do that. We'll add here and we'll add a collectible. Interesting. Do I want to put it on here? I feel like I should because most things are going to have a token spawn, right? Here. We'll just do it on the copter robot first. But basically here we want to do a BP, or we want to do a collectible to spawn. So we actually want to generate something when the robots are killed, and we'll spawn a token. We'll right click it so that these little squares means it's an array, which means it's a collection of objects. The single thing here means it's a single instance of that thing. How do programs like Blender are able to round and smooth 3D models despite not having many polygons? There is a function in there called smooth material, smooth topology, smooth mesh. it's smooth something. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it basically like smoothens out the mesh as well as it thinks it can. But you still need like decent topology. Topology being like the layout of the actual tris and polygons to do that. I've done a little bit of 3D modeling. I'm not very good at it, but I at least know how to do it. Yeah, so Nova, I will say we've not made a lot of money. Like I'll just point that out. But it's been like we've been able to do stuff with it. Like Kyle bought a whole bunch of computer hardware. I got a new computer. Got microphones, and so as far as like in my pocket, it's been very little. Almost all of it's gone back to the business. Like almost everything. Shade smooth, that's what it is. That's right. Yes, we are using Perforce, but I use plastic at work. I really like plastic's user interface and user experience. It's really good. You can animate cutscenes in Engine. I'm just not an animator for that, but it would look really cool. I do have one dynamic camera set up for a cutscene, but I've not like done anything with it. Yeah, they're a little weird as far as like walking over them. I may just make it to maybe, I don't know. And you can see this is like kind of in place. So, you know, and it's a different camera too than what you have. So it is much more cinematic looking. So my Discord is locked to Patreon and YouTube memberships. I don't have it public. I've not decided if I want to take it public or not. It has been on my mind, but as of right now, it is locked to those. My only concern is just, you know, the more people you have in there, the more crazy Discords get, and I'm not sure I want to be handling that side of the internet, you know, to put it as nicely as I can. Yeah. Anyways, we were spawning tokens. Yes. So after the person has died and we do all this, we want to grab this and we want to spawn actor from class. And we also want to update his position like tick wise, but I don't know how we should do that because the way it works in the game is it kind of goes up and then down. I almost wonder if I should create a specific blueprint for spawned objects. I think I'm going to. Yeah. I've been in, so I'm not going to like mention the names of them, but I'm in a Discord that is private to Patreon and YouTube members that I'm a Patreon supporter of, and I help out with them a little bit as well. And it is much less toxic and has much less problems than 99% of Discords. And so I don't want that to be the owner. I want this to be the class. Oh, I need this to be a class. And so, yeah. Oh, thank you, Nova. Thank you so much. If YouTube, so I don't have a YouTube member in Discord yet. You just have to make sure that you connect YouTube and Discord together. If it does not put you in there, leave a comment on this video and I'll make sure my code is correct on actually getting it set up. Okay. Cause I may just have made an oopsie because I've not actually been able to test that yet. Well, with you here, I can at least test. But yeah, thank you so much, Noah. That's awesome. And yeah, and there we go. Let's just see if this. Oh, it needs a transform. That's right. Yeah, we had this issue a moment ago. Get actor location. Okay, so this should do that. We have the class we're referencing, which we want this to be a coin. Right? Is that what it... That's right. Is this Donkey Kong music? This is Donkey Kong Country 2 music. Oh, yeah. I think it's Donkey Kong Country 2. I'm pretty certain. It's you. Hey, looky there. And it works too. So we need it to kind of bob up and down. Whoa! 5 members. Thank you so much, DJ. That's so kind of you. Oh my goodness, my little heart is pitter patting. That's awesome. Look at all these wonderful people who got memberships. Thank you so much, DJ. That's very kind. We've got a couple of homies in the chat, Nova and DJ. Thank y'all so much. And with that, we need to bob it. I almost feel like we should. 5 of them. Oh man, that's an angry video game nerd reference. if none of y'all know. But yeah, we're gonna make a custom pickup specifically for let's see, collectibles. We want to make it a child of this. So create child blueprint class. I could do that, or I could set up a spline for it to follow, or a position for it to spawn. Oh, no. Yeah, we're just going to do it like this for now. Because I also need to make it to where I'm going to be adding this to this whenever it hits max rotation when you spin attack it. Anyways, so we have that as a child. So all that should be good. Can I not... tweak the... Oh, here it is. Up here at the top. I was thinking it'd be at the bottom. So we can set the collectible type, the argument, which is basically like a variable name. Oh my goodness. Funny G Alex. I assume that one is it now. Thank you so much. It's so kind. Everyone's so nice right now. NZ as in New Zealand. I don't think there's a state with NZ as a state initial, so I'm assuming you mean New Zealand. If so, that's cool. That's where Rubes is in New Zealand, I believe. Maybe. I may have that wrong. With the members gift. Yeah, DJ, that's totally fine. If you cancel, then unless I set it up for you specifically, then users get removed. But also, most people, like almost no one ever connects their YouTube and their Discord, it seems. So yeah, that's all good. Tanner Gray, you have a good night. You're not a night owl, dude. I actually stay up till like 3 a.m. every single day. Yeah, New Zealand, cool. Yeah, there's a couple of YouTubers I really like from New Zealand, which is interesting because New Zealand has such a small population. But yeah, there's like quite a few cool people from New Zealand I like. No, I understand. Like the closest thing that I went to for a second was Nevada, which doesn't even have a Z, but that's in V, I believe. But yeah, okay. So here we want to add. We want to move it up and down, as if it like kind of pops up. What would be the easiest way to do that? It would be, got it. A timeline. Is it not create timeline? Add timeline. That's what it is. Okay. TL underscore move collectible. Boom. Okay. So here we're going to play from start. What a timeline does is I can go in here. I can add a track and I can name this track underscore, move percentage. Okay, and basically we want this to go up and down in like 2 seconds or something. We'll set it for 2. So the first value and then a second value. And basically the way this works is, oh, I need a third value actually. 0, 0, 0. Time is 1, 1. And then a third key, which is 2, 0. And then I also need this to be more of a bell, but I don't really, I don't want to be linear. I don't want to do that. Okay. I don't want to do that. I want to do interesting. Okay. So you have to do that. That's interesting. I didn't know it had to be like that, but there we go. Make sure I'm not catching up. Again, Funny G, thank you so much. From Denmark, so you're not out. You're not gonna cancel the gifts. They are. Thank you. Okay, man. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. Well, adding Woody as a playable character, Pizza Dog, automatically adds a few hundred hours to the project. Because I don't have to repeat everything I've done with Buzz, but I have to repeat a lot of what we did. And also there's the animation work, which in itself makes it almost unfeasible because we don't have an animator on the project. We had Illia, who is really good and did the animations for Buzz. Some people have a couple of issues with a few of the animations, but in general seem pretty positive overall. But we can't get an animator. And so, yeah. That alone is like a big blocker for it. See ya. Thank you so much. So I set the YouTube integration after the YouTube membership, so I didn't get it. It should still automatically add you once you add the integration, so I'll make sure it's not something on my end later today. Stocking shelves in the OR. That's actually interesting. I've never really considered that as a thing. Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. That's where the angry video game nerd is, I believe. How about a cosmetic? Buzz in a woody costume, like a onesie or something. I do think, at the very least, Buzz is getting Woody's hat. At the bare minimum, that's happening. But I just don't know if the rest is happening yet. But for sure, we're doing that. Okay, stop getting distracted, Zachary. So basically, we want to have a couple of different variables here. Start height. We want this to be a float, and then we want another float that is a add height. That's not a very good name. We'll call it move distance. Okay. We'll set start height before we do the timeline in a second. Play from start. And basically the way this works is it goes through the time of this. So we set it for 2 seconds, and it will go from that 0 to 1 to 0. So it'll look like a sine wave, cosine wave. I don't remember the exact one, but it'll look like a wave like that. And then that will allow this to move. So we can do this multiplied by update is basically every single frame while this is going on. And so if we get this percentage, which is updating from 0 to 1 to 0, and multiply that by move distance, then we know set location, set world location. We can set the world location to split this up. We want to get actor location, which is the current actor we're possessing, which is the collectible. We're going to split this up, and we want X and Y to match. We want Z, which is the starting position. No, we don't want to do that. Just kidding. Start height. We're going to get actor location again, but way over here. I'm just going to copy this actually. And then we're going to add, I think we're actually going to put it in this one, put it here. I'll explain all this in a second, but we need to then get the start height position, and this should work. Okay, so let's go through how this works exactly. You need a tech artist. As far as like actual 3D art goes, we're good. It's just an animator is really desired, because we haven't animated the enemies yet either, except for like putting a basic bend over animation state for the boss. It just takes a little bit of practice. It's not so bad once you kind of understand it. Let's go through this though. So when the spawned token or collectible appears, whatever the collectible is, we basically grab the height of where it's spawned at, which will be at the base, which will be at the enemy's location of if it's an enemy that's killed. It'll be at that location, typically. And then we start a timeline to go from start. So over the course of 2 seconds, we keep track of this float, the value variable. I was about to point at it. And we keep track of this over the 2 seconds to where it goes to 1 and then back to 0 at the end of 2 seconds. But we take that value, we multiply it by the total move distance we want to move. So if we want to move 200 centimeters, then like up to 200 centimeters up and then back down to 0. Then, sorry, I was reading something. then this will move us up to a percentage of that. So if it's at 0.5 and we want to move a total of 200, then it'll be at 100. And then we add that to the start height so that we know where the original position was. And then we have the end location of where it should be every frame. And that should theoretically work. What we're going to do is set move distance and set that public. Although I don't think that matters. We're going to just set this to 200 for now. I don't know what is actually necessary. And then we want to actually spawn that on this guy. So we have the location and we have that. We actually want to just get rid of this. We want to set up the class to be BP underscore collectible spawn. And then we want to set the collectible type to coin. We're going to change a few things here. We're going to set the mesh to coin. I'm curious if the material probably won't update automatically, will it? But that's fine. We'll go with this for right now and just see if it works. And then we want to set move distance. And it's set already at 200 natively, but we're going to set it here just in case I change that value. We're going to set it for the specific use case. Okay, so basically what we're doing here is we're spawning a collectible token. We're making it a coin if it's not already. We're setting it to be a ham token on the mesh. And then we set its move distance. Let's go ahead and set this collectible spawn to be a coin already as well. Where's this material? There it is. Okay. I think it's a ham token. Yes, ham coin. Okay. Okay, that was a little high, but it works. OBS disconnected. Can y'all still hear me and see me? I hope. OBS connection successful. Let me know if there was an issue with that. And if I don't get any chat, then I'll check in a second. Let's go to... Hold on. Okay. All that's good. Okay, so we're going to shorten the distance, and this should be fine. Hey, there we go. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're actually going to set this. If I set this as a variable, can I set specific stuff on it? Is it just spawn actor from class, right? Yeah. Okay. Promote to variable. I kind of want to set stuff on there though. Spawned collectible. Okay, so let's not do that. I can set a variable. Okay, I got a way to do it. Token to spawn. I said token to spawn. It should just be collectible to spawn. BP underscore Did this freeze? Okay. Collectible spawn. And then if I compile and save, and I open this, it doesn't do what I want. That's okay. All right, we'll just get rid of that. I think everything works on this. Oh, I need to set the argument. Set argument. Yeah, that's super important actually for it to actually count on the collectible system. If I spawn a collectible token or a cosmetic token, it needs to know what to pick up, things like that. Okay, very good to hear, Aqua. Thank you. Yeah, I think it. I'm not sure, but I think is this. Oh, there's like an actual fan funding button. Oh, that's cool. I think it was a disconnection from chat, but I think everything like live stream wise was just fine. That's what I think happened. So we have this. This is getting messy, so we're going to clean this up now. So we're going to pull this here. In fact, we're actually going to pull this down, so they match. We're going to pull this here. We're cleaning up code a little bit. I kind of want actually to. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. All right, we're just making this a little bit easier to read is all we're doing. So nothing like actually crazy. We're adding our argument here for one. And what is a collectible coins argument even? Oh, I opened all the folders. Gross. Collectible battery sheet, buzz token, collectible coins is just coin. Okay, that's an easy argument name. So argument is a string, which is a text basically, and it tells me certain kind of info for something if I possibly need it. So it's a very bad way to explain it, but basically like for the cosmetic system, I can make the tag or the type will be cosmetic, and the argument would be glow in the dark buzz, and it would unlock a cosmetic to always glow in the dark. Coins don't really use an argument, but it's still important to have it filled out already in case I do that. But we have that, and there we go. The argument is in, and all that should be fine. I can also set up like these things to be on a variable so it sets it automatically, but there we go. Now, let's say I want to change this to a different type of collectible. What type of collectible would I spawn? A battery. Yeah, I could do that. I could do a laser upgrade. This is all stuff that I've made. But, okay. So we have that. I need to add it to first off, we're actually going to make this a function. Spawn collectible. So that way it's easy to do. We're also going to add a boolean here for has spawned collectible to make sure we don't spawn it twice, and this needs to be a boolean. I misspelled boolean. And basically what a boolean is just a true-false statement. And so if I get it, it's going to start out as false. We can, I need to not do that. I need to set, oh wait. Okay, I got what we're supposed to do. We need to see if this is true or false. And if the collectible has not been spawned, let's make this a little bit easier to read. So if this collectible has not been spawned, then we want to set it to have been spawned, and then we spawn everything. Otherwise, it's already spawned. We don't want to spawn it again. This is useful, or this is expected when we do the respawning of the enemies. So there we go. All that should be fine. So now when we want to do this on the other enemy, it will be super quick. So there we go. Hello, Electric Man. Hello. Nice to see you here. So we're going to copy this variable real quick, and we're going to paste it over here. And it is false by default. We want this unchecked so that we know that it has not been spawned yet. Then we grab this. There's nothing in here that should be an issue. Okay. And we want to paste no errors down here, so that's good. And then on enemy has died, after all of this, we want to spawn collectible. And now this collectible should spawn as well. On both the copter and the jumper. Good deal. That's what we like to see. Take that, buddy. Oh, I need to add force on laser hits. If you're wondering why this is going through it, by the way, it was an attempt of me to fix some stuff. So that's the right thing. DJ, thank you so much for hanging out. We'll see you soon. We're going to be live streaming again within the next 2 weeks for sure, at the absolute latest, unless something happens. Because we're going to go into actually making or actually planning out some gameplay ideas for the Woody's Roundup Lightyear for this. That's being made by the community. All right. So that's all good. Tokens appear just as expected. And now we want to spawn a cosmetic on this guy, hitting max terminal velocity. Max velocity. So the globe is its own special object. If y'all don't know the functionality of this, I've shown it a few times. We're not going to jump on the bed because it causes issues. I need to turn off. This may not fall. Okay. Whoops. I need to just turn off mantling on the bed for one. Anyways, so if you go up to this and you spin attack it, you can actually spin the globe. And it has a max velocity that it can hit. And so when it does that, it needs to spawn a cosmetic token. What are you doing on Easter? I don't know too much. We'll be going to church. We're religious in the Christian faith, but we'll be doing that, and then we'll be doing some Easter egg hunting stuff. And I don't even know if if my parents are coming over or anything like that. I don't know. I have no idea what we're doing. I could check the family calendar because we keep track of everything on Google Calendar, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's nothing in the calendar, so I don't know what's going on Easter Day. What do you mean price? Like the cost of what it would take to take this to fruition, or like how much it should sell for? I'm just curious. Obviously, I can't sell it or distribute it in any way due to copyright laws, but let's go back to the globe though, and we want to rotation speed, we want to clamp it, and that's the max rotation. So here's where we want to do it. Yes. Okay. So if this is greater than or equal to this max value, so we want to make this a private variable, right? So this is the max rotation speed that this is allowed to go to. It should have already been set, but we don't want this full amount because do we? Oh, I guess we do, because it could hit that unless we want to give it some leeway. So if this minus, we'll say like 50 or 100. Yeah, that'll be an easy way to do it. Okay, so if you spin and attack it and it gets to 1800 rotation when the max speed is 1900, then it will think that it's at full velocity and it will invoke this branch, meaning that we can spawn actor from class. We want to be a BP underscore collectible cosmetic. But the issue is we want it to have the spot on properties. We're going to do this, split up, and we also need to set a location on this. This probably needs to be is there an empty game object that has a scene transform and can be attached to other scene components? Okay, so that works. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, so that should be fine. Scene underscore, we want this to be the spawn token location. I need to check that out of the server so that no one else can tweak it. Project looks cool. Thank you so much. We got another DJ in here. Another DJ just left. So it's not what I would charge necessarily, I guess. The actual cost to develop this, if I had a full team, I think this full game could be remade with a total of 10 team members at full time in under 2 years. Easily, with extra added content from the original and all fully updated custom art and everything like that. And so there you're looking at, the cost of employment and everything like that. I mean, you'd probably spend 12 for like kind of cheaper employment as well, for like cheaper team members, because you got all kinds of taxes and benefits and stuff, like $12,000 a month per employee, which also includes the cost of like software and stuff as well. But so you're looking at 12 times 10 people, that's 120,000 a month times 24 months, and you're looking at like 3 million or something like that. So it'd still be like a single A price, but that's like probably like a very conservative price of what it'd cost to actually do. What's up, Metal Dad? This needs to be a vector 3. Right? Oh, no. We decided to do this. That's right. We want to get world location of this component. And then that spawns the collectible, but we need to actually set the properties on it, which from here were these things. We're going to copy and paste these over, but we're not going to make it a coin. It is going to be a buzz token. And the collectible name, this is the actual cosmetic that's unlocked. So we're going to promote this to a variable. And we'll name this collectible argument. What is... Oh, I chose cosmetic. That's not what I want. I want collectible spawn. Okay. So we got that. And then the collectible needs to, the static mesh needs to be the buzz token. That's the original. Oh, is it not called a buzz token? Extra life. There it is. Extra life. And then move distance is 100. That's fine. Okay. And on the globe, what collectible do we want to unlock with this? Or do we want to spawn a token of? What collectibles do we have? Cosmetic. Go to Cosmetic Manager. All cosmetics. Let's see what's in here. Reverse Buzz. Glow in the Dark. Cybersonic. Let's do Cybersonic. Does it have the cosmetic name right there? Yeah. I think this is how you do this. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think the argument name is the name of the actual cosmetic, I believe. That's how I set it up. Regardless, we can fix that if that's not the case. That's an easy fix. Destroy these guys. Destroy them. Good deal. Man, I love these guys just like falling over. So one thing with like using like realistic colliders is you can do stuff like this. So, you know, there's that. All right. Oh, I didn't set the spawn location either, so I don't actually know if it spawned. Here, we need to take this. Yeah, because it can spawn underneath stuff. Here. And then we also want like some kind of like cool particle effect going off whenever it hits terminal velocity as well. But we can do that in a second. I have a bunch of games I would love to remake. You know, some of them that'd be kind of fun just because I like racing games. It'd be like Cars, the game, which I actually grew up with. Ignore that. That's like it for trying to cheat. Let's see, like Blinks the Time Sweeper is one. Okay, so I need to make sure I don't spawn it. Also, he's not changing the mesh like he's supposed to. So that's a thing. So we want a Boolean check. Oh, hey, I need to set this inside of a... Control C. Actually, no, we don't want to Control C. We want to collapse it to a function. We want to say spawn collectible to a function. There we go. We want this to be max velocity hit. We also want another Boolean for has collectible bin spawned. I don't have to have the word bin. That's repetitive. Let's get rid of that. Has collectible spawned. This is false by default. So if this is false, oh, we don't actually, we can. So we want and Boolean here. So if we're at max velocity and the collectible has not been spawned, then we can spawn a token. However, after it's spawned, we need to set has collectible spawned to true. There we go. Used to be All right, I'm a little behind. Get the what? You know, I mentioned Blink the Time Sweeper. I did do something pretty cool. Let's look at this. I believe it is. Yeah, the logo is kind of like janky because I just did it real quick. But my April Fool's joke this year on the YouTube channel was to ask if people thought this was real or not, which is Blinks the Time Sweeper retimed. Yeah, I would love to make this game. Blinks the Time Sweeper is awesome, and there's no other games like it. It's very unique. There's not really many time manipulation games already. It's already like a very niche genre. So there's a lot more you could do to it. Have y'all not heard my music this whole time? Oh no, I just now realized it. I've had music going in the background. Oh man. I even mentioned Donkey Kong earlier, and there we go. Okay. But yeah, so that'd be a really fun project to make. Hello, Romfall. Turn 2D to 3D. Yes. But what game would I choose? That's a good question. Yeah, I just realized that it's been silent this whole time. But let's see. A 2D game I'd want to make in 3D. I'd want to do something kind of crazy, like an Angry Birds in 3D. You know, I think it could be really fun. I already want to remake Angry Birds really bad. That's another answer for you. Like, I really want to make it. But, you know, it'd also be fun to make Fruit Ninja in VR. There is Fruit Ninja Connect. I don't know if there's a VR version, but I think that'd be kind of fun. It's like a VR project. But, yeah. What if the globe falls off? We considered that. There's some challenges with it as far as like turning it into a physics object. With it spinning, it could cause issues, but it is something we considered. But this is like still like a really rewarding thing to do. Okay, we need to figure out why this did not change the mesh, because set mesh on the collectible, set static mesh. No. Okay. So that's that. So why did it not work? That I actually don't know. Let's try this again. It should only spawn once at least now. I think we're also going to just... Hold on. This. Let's open this up. Begin play. Okay. We're just going to leave that out real quick while we do this. I think I could add a little bit more per time. Yeah, the UV's off on this. I just realized that. Like, it's not actually textured 100% correct. I'm sure you can see that as well. Interesting. Okay. That is super weird. So if we go to collectibles. Collectible to spawn. We set the static mesh. In fact, it's correct right here. All right, so yeah, we set that. Interesting. The texture's correct here too. Is it correct on the enemies? Yeah, it's correct on Neil. So it's just trying to change the mesh causes issues. That's interesting. I don't actually know why. Let's go to the class settings. Parent class is collectible. Okay, I can't open it from there. That's fine. All right, let's see. Begin play, active rotation. Yeah, there's nothing for the mesh. There's a static mesh here with the sphere. Man, I made all this work for spawning this guy, but what if it's actually easier to just... I don't know. To add like a bounce. A well-designed ham coin. Thank you. Yeah, that's Kyle. He made that. I think Dor made it first, and then Kyle updated it slightly to fit better. Thank you. By the way, if it's Anna or Anna, let me know and I'll pronounce it correctly. You never know with that name. I've had friends in school who went by both. But why is the mesh not changing? That is curious. All right. In development, still related to Andy's house, or are you hoping to tackle the full game or other levels? We are undecided how much we're going to do. We're not planning on the entire game. We've only committed to the first level. I kind of showed it earlier. I'll show it again because it's been we've been streaming for like 2.5 hours now. I'll show it just for kind of funsies. We've been testing foliage performance on level 2, and so we added a bunch of grass. It's 65,000 blades of grass in the level, or 65,000 meshes of grass. So more than just a single blade. It's like collections. But this is what the level looks like right now with a whole bunch of foliage in here. And we're running like 60 frames a second in engine, which is probably going to be like 100 to 150-ish in a build. So that's what performance looks like right now. So that's cool. Pretty exciting. We still have the old thing here, but yeah, this whole level, like you can pick up all the tokens on this level and complete the tasks technically here, but yeah, we just don't have actually like any new art on the level, and there's some bugs as well, which seem like it's like the racing system. Yeah, it's all related to the racing system, so I just haven't set it up for level 2. Why is it not working? And why is it working? Yeah, and then you find out later it's a silly reason why it didn't work usually. Usually your fault as well, but that's okay. All right. Thank you, Boss Moss. So yeah, I don't know why it's working. Do I have, first off, let's see if it even unlocks correctly, if the collectible argument is correct on this. So we need to go to the collection manager, we also need to have everything set as unlocked, which is not true. So standard buzz obviously should be unlocked. The rest of these should be locked until you find the collectible for them. In fact, here's what we're going to do is we're going to add a boolean. Unlock all the cosmetics. We're going to set this to false. Begin play. We want to get branch, and then we want to go to all cosmetics. For each loop, actually we want this to go here, and if we unlock all cosmetics, then we go to the for loop. That's obviously much more efficient because we're not checking a branch like 50 times. Okay, so we got that, and now we want to get, or is it break? We want to break this. Set. Oh, we want to set members. Okay, this is what it is. So we want to set unlocked as true. So now we can set that to no, we don't want it to be exposed on the level. Okay. So now, basically, if I ever want to unlock all the cosmetics automatically, I can just do that. That's much more quick. Gives me hope for the backyard. Here's what the level backyard looks like in this level right now. I just threw the fence and a basic tree back here, which the only place you see it out of is the kitchen window, which are actually pretty obscured. But you see that all the outside is like obviously ugly right now because we've been focusing so much on the inside. But yeah, our plan though is if we have all the assets for level 2, we could just copy them into this level and have that, at least like a basic version. If you're curious what this is about, light seeps through these little cracks, and so I just put this to block all light from coming in. That's all that's for. Anyways, so we want to check to see if this actually makes this the right kind of collectible even. I also need to remember to set this dresser back to close on spawn. Okay. First off, and ignore the cosmetics menu. It is ugly, but oh, I don't even have a. Okay, it's not unlocked. Oh no, can I not hit that button? My button's gone. There it is. Okay, so that needs fixed. But if we pick this up, and now if we go back to the cosmetics menu, yeah, okay, so it does spawn it as a, because this is unlocked now. And so now if we leave, we're Cybersonic. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, is this? Oh, yeah, because there's a giant trigger up there. Okay, yeah, that bug is expected. We have some chats to get through. And that's laser bullet issues with being destroyed the same frame they're generated. Okay, let's get through some of these chats. I imagine since we were 6, it would have blown our minds. We would have gone crazy. Spent 2 hours figuring out why something didn't work and missed a bull being set to false earlier in the chain. Felt so dumb. That's happened to everyone. Even today, I like these days, I still do like dumb stuff after like 5 years of professional experience, which is not a lot. It's a good amount, but 5 years of professional experience, been working in game development. Before that, a little bit learning and stuff. So like taking like 8-9 years doing all this, almost actually almost 10 years now. But yeah, watched your 1 year later video on the plane come home from Asia. As someone who's followed since the beginning, I want to say you've made great progress and you should be proud. Thank you so much. Yeah, we are proud. And like we said, like this project came out like way better than we ever expected. We're really happy with how it's come out. Aqua, you are so kind. Thank you so much. That is so kind of you. Here's hoping for all 15 levels. That would be crazy. I will say like some levels will be super quick. So it's 15 levels. We spent a year on level 1. It would not take 15 years to make the whole game. Some levels, like level 3, would take about 2 weeks. Level 3 being where you fight the plane. Basically, it'd be making the AI. Kyle would probably make a backyard with the assets that are already made from level 2. And then he'd make the plane. I'd make the AI logic and stuff. And it would be super quick. So it'd probably be like 2 weeks for that. Elevator hop would be like our super quick level. But then you have levels like Owl's Toy Barn, which would probably take like 6 months at least for one person to do. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much. That's so kind of you to, that's awesome. The original game and see what the actual backyard graphics look like in the PSX game. So no, I have obviously the original assets in here, but I haven't actually like taken a close look. It's kind of the same thing where like everything had like 2 meshes, a high LOD and a low LOD version. And I removed all the low LOD versions, which this is like the high LOD, which is funny. But yeah, I mean, there's like some interesting stuff. Like obviously these are like, you know, you only see like half of it. Technically everything's like super low poly. Like you can see all of the quads on here. But I've not done like an actual like dissection of it really. I kind of went through it quickly. Level 2 is actually an easy level as well. So yeah. But it's cool. Like I do want to do level 2. It's just not fully decided if we will officially do it. If we do level 2, I'm probably not making a video on it until it's done, which would probably take a few months, like 2 or 3 or something. And I'll just pop up with a video saying, hey, look, it's done. That'd be fun to do. All right. The red, white, and blue buzz skin to ref, white, and buzz. Red, white, and buzz. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a very fun idea. I'm going to change it. I have to change the variable in a couple places, though, so I like on the collectible as well. But what is this song from? I actually don't know this song. Oh, it doesn't have the name. Okay, that's fine. I was looking for the name of it. Yeah. Oh, you know, related to that, I have been wanting to put myself on camera more. Like I actually had a funny comment that asked if I was putting myself on camera more for the algorithm, which is interesting to consider. The answer was no. The actual reason I put myself on camera more in my last video was because I actually wanted it to be more narrative based. Like I wanted to actually build a story. And obviously I can't write a story as well as like Alpharad or anything, but that was kind of my inspirations. Can I make something in the vein of Alpharad? Hello. Nice. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah, and it's easier to build a story like that on camera. Okay, so we were figuring. So this is not popping up as a cosmetic mesh for some. Oh, is it not? I'm so dumb. Okay, I got it. Okay. Oh my gosh. So after we set the static mesh, we need to set the. Oh my, I'm on caps lock. Set material. And the material is buzz token. Or life. Yes, this is basically the texture is what this is referencing. So that's why the texture did not line up. It's because It was trying to use the wrong texture on it. See, okay, I just needed a minute to figure it out. So if this works, then we're going to, I also think I need to increase the amount of like spin that happens with this, because this is too many spins to require it. It worked. There we go. Yeah, see, I just had the wrong texture on there. Duh. And now we can do Cybersonic. And I need to fix this soon. First off, I need to make it to where the laser can't be destroyed on the frame it's generated on. Just should not be allowed, because it will do this, which is bad for performance, actually. But I also need to make it to where it does not hit triggers. You can see like this trigger here opens this bottom drawer. That's what this trigger is for. But the laser intersects with triggers. So I need to make it ignore them. That's just, you know, not too difficult to do. Hi, Kona. Thank you. That's very nice. It feels like 3 to 5 cents. Yeah, and I do have something to add to the charge spin as well, because the charge spin should apply damage every half second, every third of a second, quarter of a second, something like that. And so that should also make it build up quickly. The charge spin attack is something I need to go back to as well, to add repeatable damage, like damage per second, DPS to it. But yeah. That boing in the background throws you back so much. Yeah. All the sounds, like when I didn't have sounds in the game compared to when I had sounds, it completely transformed the game. And I'm using like all the old sound effects. I don't have any new sound effects in here. I am probably going to add a few new sound effects. But yeah, I need to probably decrease the mass on these a little bit more, because they kind of like make Buzz go crazy if he steps on them. Like this is a speedrun trick waiting to happen. Yeah. Okay. So that's, but that's fine. It's cool. I'm usually not like a physics guy for games. Like I don't usually care about physics and ragdolls being in gaming. I know it's like super popular. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I just need to make it to where Buzz cannot step on them. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I don't know what that input would be. On a video a week ago and left some feedback. Glad to see you're keeping at it. Looks like a wonderful portfolio piece. Yeah, we're adding a few things, like the enemies being destroyed. Like there's, like, I alluded that the project could be coming to an end. It is still undecided if that's the full case or not, but it is always my intention to at least finish a couple of things off that feel unfinished, and like some minor bugs. At least, like things that make it look worse than the rest, like the worst things of the project. Like for example, this cosmetics menu and the lighting on Buzz here. I don't know what's causing that. I haven't looked at it at all though. But like this is obviously going to be fixed, and some placeholder art here is not working. Let's get all that lined up nice and pretty. But yeah, so I am glad. Like your comment was super valuable though, and I definitely appreciate that. What if I could pick up the broken pieces and fly with it? That'd be way too broken. It would be fun though. If I was going to add flying, it would be like I'm like way too fast. It would be like the opening of, it would be like that Buzz Lightyear space level in Toy Story 3, which is based off the Toy Story 2 movie game in the movie. And where he's like actually flying like vertically. And that'd be kind of fun to add. But just don't know if I'm going to. Yes, so the enemies do damage Buzz if he walks into them. That's already implemented. Owie. And then owie. He's not flying. If we can just ignore why that's happening. But he's not flying. But he does shoot. And he has let's get rid of this guy. This is easier with a controller for me. I'm not much of a keyboard and mouse person. But yeah, basically every 3 seconds he'll take a shot. He has a chance to miss. And I think it's like a 25% chance to miss. Yeah. And the bullets are slow too, because my original iteration of him, this dude could like snipe you out of the air. It was crazy. Yeah, these things should be much lower mass, but we'll fix that. So I actually want it to be physics objects, just because there's not many physics-based objects in the level at all. So I wanted something for people to kind of mess with, at least. Like, the only things that have actual true physics are Buzz, and then the Seesaw here, and everything else is either a static physics-like state or completely fake on its physics. Like even the jumper robots are totally fake on their physics, jumping and stuff. So I kind of want something that's like actual physics for someone to mess around with. There's so few enemies in the level that it doesn't really matter. And when those enemies respawn, which I'm going to be implementing here shortly, I want all those pieces to kind of like shake for a second and then zoom like back to each other, cause a little like mini explosion, and then the enemy reappears. Whereas in the original game, they just all of a sudden like appear. And so I think that'd be kind of like really cool to add as well. And when they start shaking and they start flying, that's when the collision would turn off on those objects, so that it doesn't like hit something, and it would go through walls sometimes, possibly on that, but whatever. But yeah, that's the plan. I think that'd be a really fun way to add back in respawning, and make it feel like, you know, Buzz isn't killing other toys. So yeah, what else we got going on? You had other comments on so far. Should do with our robot enemies. I'm unsure how in UE5 you're doing it though. Yeah, so I actually specifically turned on physics objects. It's really easy to do in Unreal Engine, where the main variable you set is, let's just go to enemy piece. So I spawn a bunch of these little like blueprints, which in a Unity comparison would be a prefab. I spawn a bunch of these, and I basically just physics. Is it on the static mesh? Here it is. Yeah, I basically simulate physics on here, and then I changed a couple things here, like the mass scale and stuff, to make them heavier. But then I also have some collision stuff, like the character should not probably step up on it, because I think that's causing some weird behavior. But yeah. Woo. Okay, yeah, that works much better. So yeah, just turning off can't step on like fixed like most of the issues, it seems. Good deal. Most of them. Physics and ragdoll for the win. Like I said, I usually don't like physics and ragdoll. Like specifically, I don't like ragdolls in gaming. And like probably just because the type of games that add them are not games that appeal to me. But yeah, I just wanted something to play with in the level that is a physical object. You love that you can kick them around. Yeah, and because you have to remember this game was originally like a PS1 N64 game, so the game is very static, which makes a lot of sense. So if we can like bring that back to life a little bit, and then that's always welcome. There's other things you could do as well for that, but like some like flickering lights. Like Kyle's gonna be making a floor lamp over here, specifically because I want to brighten up these books a little bit. But maybe adding like a little bit of flashing on their shader and stuff, like adding some movement to the scene is always a good idea. Yeah, Speedy, that's what I was saying is the pieces when the respawn occurs, the pieces will fly back together and they will create a mini explosion, which will hide them disappearing and an enemy respawning. Which I guess we could get started on now. I don't know if we're gonna finish that, but we can get started on that now. Yeah, and well, for me, a lot of times it's just the games that have ragdolls are not appealing to me. So like Human Fall Flat, like that is not a game for me. I couldn't care less about Human Fall Flat. And that's all about ragdoll physics and stuff like that. There's a couple of exceptions, like Octodad obviously is a classic fun one. Yeah, we thought the same thing, Speedy. So let's get to work on this. So we want to respawn. Should that be on the interface? It probably should, right? Should it be on the interface or not? What is on? Turn friendly, turn hostile. I don't know if... I'm just going to do it like everything else. I'm just going to do it on the copter robot first, and then if I decide to move it to something else, we'll do that. Yeah, we're at least going to get started on it. I'll probably make it to where they fly back and everything flips back on, but I probably won't add the shaking yet. I don't know how I'll do that. That's probably maybe a timeline feature or something. I don't know. There also may be an Unreal Engine feature for that, but I found with games that have very binary in the logic, like some games or physics-based, consistent world and game rules are super crucial to the player. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like you don't want to change like player expectations midway through. Yeah, I think I totally agree with that. That's pretty fun but infuriating. I was just reminded of the game the other day. I'd completely forgotten about it. So we want to do on here after the enemy has died. We want to set a respawn timer. Does that go on the... Well, that's probably in the enemy stat struct, right? Yeah, let's do that. Do I have... I don't. Okay, so this is a great opportunity to look at something. Can I edit it from here? No. Okay, whatever. I didn't want to anyways. AI. Alright, so we have our struct here. A struct is a collection of data that we can set on specific like enemies, types and stuff. You can also use other things like this for this, like something called a data table. But we're going to add a couple variables to here. The only problem with the struct is you can't reorganize them, which is pretty frustrating. So I don't like that. Like if I was to like remap this out, I would put the booleans next to each other, all the floats together, all the integers together. Or I would put them in collections of like all respawn stuff is here. But you can't do that on here. You probably can on a data table, but not on here. But this is the way it's set up right now. All right, so for a Boolean, we want to do should respawn. And then we also want to add a timer or a time. Respawn time. So enemies, bosses will obviously have should respawn set to false. And then time to respawn will probably be like 30 seconds or something. You know, I don't remember anything about the Bugs Life game. I had it as a kid, and I played it a teeny bit to see if I wanted to remake that when I was deciding between this and Bugs Life and Bugs Bunny game. But I didn't play it super long, so I don't really remember much about it. I just realized pretty quickly that I didn't really want to do it, mostly because, not because of the game, but because I felt like I couldn't make something unique with it, because Grounded is just came out like a couple, like what, a year and a half earlier, a year earlier, something like that. Not too much longer before, and so I didn't really want to retread that same ground. Oh, the green laser should permanently destroy them? You know, that's actually not the worst idea. The green laser is in here. I gotta go pick it up real quick. I don't know if I would permanently destroy them. I guess it wouldn't matter. It'd be kind of cool to make it to where they permanently destroy them. Here, you can cheat and cop that. I'll probably patch that out, but you'll get it for now. And the charge, or the power-up laser, does not make a sound. That's one of the sounds that's not in there. And it's mostly because I removed the charging sound. I hope you understand me spit. I spit really far. I removed the charging sound because it was buggy. If you stop shooting on the same frame where it starts, which is like a super easy fix. I also think maybe the power-up laser should be more lenient on its auto aim as well, maybe. But anyways, yeah, Zerg outfit would be awesome. I would totally be down for a Zerg outfit. But again, like always, the challenge is just it's more art. But we will be adding a lot of cool stuff. Speedrun strat. Just be stronger. Yeah, maybe a purple laser to permanently destroy them. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, because there is the ground pound. I actually don't. You know, I could do that. I actually don't even know if the ground pound causes damage. It does not seem like it did. I may have to correct that. But brutal, yeah. All right, so we're going back to before I got distracted. Should respawn and respawn time. And so we want here custom event respawn. And then for here, after respawn collectible, branch, we want to get the should respawn. That did not. Get enemy stats. Okay. So now we're checking to see if we're allowed to respawn. Then we need to add a delay. And then after the delay is complete, we want to respawn. And what this is going to start out with is we're just going to make everything disappear. That's a good first step. Just get that working. The respawn time in the original is very long. Like you could very easily not notice that respawn happens in a lot of cases. But I think it's somewhere between 60 to 100 seconds. It's pretty substantial. the only reason I know is because, well, like there's cases where obviously you'll go through like the same area, like where you'll have to backtrack and you'll see enemies are back. But like when I'm capturing footage of the original game, sometimes I'm in like Andy's room for like a good like 10 minutes, either getting screenshots for like thumbnails or actually capturing like footage of a specific feature or something for a video. And so I've seen it happen. All right, on the respawn, we're going to start out by oh, we did not do this yet. Hold on. Enemy piece. Spawned pieces, and we want to BP underscore enemy good deal. And this is an array, and we want to get add. We're going to bring it from here and that to there, and then this to here. This is messy looking, but well, that's okay for now. Cleanup happens afterwards. So now we know all the spawned pieces that exist. So on respawn, we're going to grab all these pieces. We're going to go in clear, just it removes all content, but it doesn't delete them. So that's for afterwards. But we want to actually get spawned pieces. We want to do a for loop. Reverse for each loop. Hey, that's what we want. Okay, so this will go in backwards order, which is very important for a specific reason. And I'll explain that in a minute. But here we want to destroy actor. And the reason this is important, well, we have to go in reverse. So, you know, you start on 0, keep track of objects. Let's say it spawns like 8 objects for the helicopter. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you delete 0 and it tries going to the next one, which would be 1, then 1 would have been 2 because the order is reorganized after the first one has been deleted. And eventually you're going to get to like for loops number 8, and that's not going to exist, and it'll cause bugs. So instead you start from 8, you delete it, and then you count down to 7, delete that, 6 to delete that, 5 delete that. So you're going in reverse order in order to prevent any craziness. I think Unreal Engine handles this more naturally natively than Unity, but it is a serious issue that you have to account for in Unity at least. I say serious issue, like make sure you account for it. It's easy to avoid if you are aware of why that bug happens, but it's like a known thing. Oh, I don't have it set up for this guy. Also, I didn't even set up his time. Did I? I actually don't think I did. Default enemy stats. We want respawn time to be 10 seconds to start out, and we should respawn. Okay. See if this works, and then I'll read some chat. Okay. So now we gotta bring back the enemy as well. Let's catch up on some chat. This is just an idea, not a request. Have you thought about incorporating a bonus level? So we are making a custom level, and we'll be doing that on stream within the next 2 weeks. Is the goal, and that's gonna be a Woody's Roundup inspired level where you still play as Buzz though. But there are like a lot of cool things you could do for adding in all of or for collecting all of the pizza tokens. Like you could go the spiral approach where you get like a special attack of some kind that is crazy. There are all kinds of options. I haven't considered an actual custom level specifically as a reward, but you know, I actually considered, or I didn't consider, but I had realized that Buzz has a karate chop that is only in the first movie and never mentioned again. And I was like, it'd probably be too hard to add because there's not much reach on the arm, and so it'd be hard to actually hit a target with it. But I did actually think about that like a couple weeks ago when watching Toy Story again. Yeah, no, it's they respawn. It take forever to respawn. Okay, so on this, on the actual respawn, we need to basically do all this backwards. So we're gonna just copy all that, put it down here. That is not what I wanted. It did not copy. Try this again. There we go. Now, after those have been destroyed, we then come down here, which we need to play. We want to start at 0, of course. So the audio will now play. So that's done. The copter should not be hidden in game. The mesh should not be hidden in game, so both of those are easy to do. Enemy has died is set to false, so that should fix the AI to where he moves again. This should be a collision enabled, gravity enabled, collision enabled for the. I actually don't know about the mesh, but I think that's right. So now, I think that was like really quick. If that's all we had to do, and it works. My aiming's so bad. That's okay. I got a glide ability, dude. That's actually a great idea. Making it so he can. Whoa! What's up, buddy? Oh, he needs his health reset. Duh. Anyways, having a glide ability or like a like almost like a flight ability of some kind, possibly. Yeah, I mean, there's like all kinds of great ideas. That's a phenomenal idea. Look at you. We got a 3D Toy Story 1 game remake also, since the original is 2D. I've never played the Toy Story 1 game. It's a Woody's Roundup stage. It was, well, yes, but we're talking like actual black and white in the show kind of thing. So like actually in that like Western environment, like actually there. Whereas Al's Penthouse is actually one of my favorite levels. I think it's called Al's Penthouse. But yeah, it's one of my favorite levels in the game. If not my favorite, I don't know. I think I like it more than Al's Toy Barn because Al's Toy Barn is really long. So that one can get a little slow. Buzz Utility Belt has so much potential. Yeah, and when we add boosters to level 2, like that'll require like some kind of like new mesh for the booster pickup, which will be fun. No, I'll never do. Or I won't say never, but I don't have any plans to do a Toy Story 3 game remake. That game is playable on Series X still, and it is really good. And it looks incredible still. Yeah, I don't have any plans. That one's already like such a good game that I don't really feel like it's as necessary to remake. Anyways, let's get back to this. We need to Get enemy stats, set members, and we want to set the current health to whatever the max health is. So get, we want to break. Okay, so that's there. So basically I grabbed our enemy stats and I keep track of what the max health of an enemy is. And on start, it always sets it to that. But basically we're going to grab the max health and we're going to set the current health to that max health so they actually respawn. So that should be all jolly good. Whoa! My aim's so bad. I can't do this. I need an aim assist on here too, to be fair. Let's make sure he respawns and has all his behavior and that he takes 3 shots to hit. Is he going to follow? All right, let's get out of the way. Let's get away. He's following me now. Okay, so he may need a little update to his behavior tree to be able to do that, but it's fine now. Fine for now. Cool. I mean, I'm really happy with this. This is so cool. Okay, so now let's actually add the pieces flying back to the enemies. Yes, actually, Al's Penthouse music is my favorite. It's been in every single one of my videos, like every one. I've always added it. I love it. So I only played Toy Story 3 for the first time like a year and a half ago, and I was surprised by how awesome it was. Maybe about 2 years ago. I'd never played it before that. I'd missed it, and I'd always assumed it was not very good for some reason, because that was after like the big like licensing, where like licensed games were like really good. Actually, it was after that era. I never got all achievements for it, but or you talk about on this one, yeah. I think you're talking about this one instead of PS3, Toy Story 3. Airport Infiltration and Trouble Tarmac are my favorite level musics. I use one of them in every one of my videos as well, but I don't remember which one. I think Infiltration. I may be wrong though. So they go up and down. I can easily make it bounce a little bit more using this timeline here, where I make this longer and I here, like, let's make it like 4 seconds, or let's make it 6 seconds, just something crazy. And we're gonna add a keyframe, add a keyframe, add a keyframe. How do I oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, it's right trigger. Anyways, so here we want to make this time 3, and we want to make this like 0.4 or no 0.6. And then for this, we want to make it 4, and we make the 0 again. And for here, we want to make it 5.2, and then we need one more keyframe, which would be 6 and 0. And now we need to go through all of these and make it like that, and that smooths out the curve on them. So this may just work. Let's see. It may or may not work like instantly. So it goes up, and then up a little bit more, and then up a teeny bit more, and then it's done. So that's like a super quick way to add that in. And it's like totally fake physics, but that's much more efficient than real physics. Like adding fake physics is always preferable
code wise if you can. So there you go. There was a time when video games of movies and shows were really good, and it's still the case sometimes, but it's much more rare. Like the Bluey game is like, man, that game sucks, but which is disappointing because Bluey is one of the greatest shows ever made. Like no joke, it's a masterpiece, and so it's really disappointing that game was so bad. Like even the story wasn't near as good. It's kind of cute, and it's much more of it's a much better story than anything that any other like licensed game has had. But yeah, it's a huge disappointment. So yeah, the PS2, yeah, I got the platinum on the PS5 version, and I should play through it on PS4 version just to get another platinum, but. I've played through the game like 5 times since I started this project for different reasons. Sometimes just to research, get a feel of it, things like that. So, yeah, it's one of your favorite platforms to date. Not even based off of stats. I think there are points of this game that are not very good in the original, but I think overall, like 95% of the game is really good, or at least like pretty good at a minimum, depending on who you ask. It's just that camera. I cannot. That camera causes all kinds of problems for me. Anyway, so now let's add the. We're on this guy. Yeah. So we need to add the body parts flying back. So the way this will be done is a timeline again. Or I think so. Yes, this seems like the most efficient way to do it. Add timeline, TO underscore return pieces. And then for this, we're going to add a track and track underscore return distance percentage. We want them to all fly back in like probably a single second. We want it to be pretty fast. So we're going to add a keyframe here and a keyframe here. We're going to set this one to 0 and 1. We're going to start. Oh wait, no. 0, right? And then this is 1 and 1. Yes, because we want to be 100% back to the player or back to the enemy at 1 second. So yeah, we'll go with that. So it's 0% to 100%. And then that's pretty easy to do. During this, we need to get all of those pieces. Did I destroy them all right? Yeah, we don't want to do that yet. So we're going to bypass all of this. All of this is no longer relevant. This happens after it has been completed. Until it's completed, though, we need to get spawned pieces. Oh, we need to get their distance as well, which we can do that. But for each loop, we're basically going to update them all on here. That seems like the best way to do that. Yeah. Oh, I'm missing some chat. Hold on. Yeah, the rafters in the attic, even like level 1 even has its points where it's like really hard. Like even when I still play that game, like when I start out, I always struggle with that part. Even like obviously I get better as I play through the game a little bit and get a little more practice with it, but anytime I start playing it, those rafters, I'll always fall off. And it's always pretty disappointing. Yeah. Yeah, and plus, Speedy, the game also just had a few things that didn't work quite right, of course. You know, the example always uses mantle, but there's a few other things as well that are a little weird. But overall, like, the game, like, holds up. Like, I could look past the technical stuff, like the mantle not working as much as I wanted, if the camera was a little bit better. Yeah, but I mean, hey, the camera is much better than games like Croc. Like, Croc has a horrible camera, and somehow I still loved that game as a kid. So, yeah, the Trash Can Slime Monster is kind of crazy. If you have a power up for it, like the upgraded laser, then it's easy. But if you don't, then it's difficult. I don't remember how you get the power up, the laser, upgraded laser on him. There's a way, isn't there? I don't remember. So yeah, slime time was hard. Yeah, my favorite level is for sure Al's penthouse, and then either level 1 or Al's toy barn, and then the next to last, the first airport level that's inside. I like that one a lot too. Okay, so we got these pieces. We need to go to the spawned pieces and keep track of where they start out at. So where's my... I have too much stuff here. I fixed this. Yes. Okay, I can close that. I can close that. I can close collection manager. I can close collectible. I can close enemy stats. I can close the globe. And everything else here is probably important. I can technically close Buzz, but I'm not going to right now. Okay, so on the... Oh, I don't even need this. Yeah, I don't need that. Okay. On the enemy pieces spawned, which has no code, which is fine. I do need to add a variable. Here's the Donkey Kong Country 2 music I was talking about earlier. Yeah, this song's awesome. Game is also incredible. We need to keep track of all right, the return. I don't usually work off of this monitor, by the way, and so I'm like having to like really stretch. Plus, I'm looking over my microphone arm over here in the corner, so I'm like having to like look over it slightly because I never put it over here just during this live stream so that I can easily capture the footage, because this is an ultra wide in front of me, and so it doesn't really work out to do anything off of this. All right, so we got the float. Oh no, we need the vector 3 actually. A single float position won't work. We need the full X, Y, and Z position. So there we go. We are going to go back to this guy. And now we need to set all this will go inside of a function as well to clean this up, because this is looking a little crazy. And I can also kind of put some of this and this in the same function to save space as well on here to clean it up. That's always like super important to do. Completed will go to play from start. And in here, basically, we want to... Oh no, we don't want to go with that. We want to get actor location. And we want to set return start position. We want to set it to that. And we're good there. Let's move this more out of the way real quick out of here. So I can set this to where it's easy to read. There we go. And now we have the return start positions on all of these. So now we can determine, we can move all of these along. So move or set actor location. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so set actor location. And now we need to determine this location based off the percentage. So we need to lerp. And what lerp... Oh, I need a vector lerp, though. Is there a lerp for vector? There's probably not, right? Oh, there is. Sweet, 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 sweet. Okay, so that makes this much easier. So the alpha is this percentage. So that makes this so much easier. This is like built in already. And I'll explain what a lerp is in a second. But we're gonna get this actor location, which needs to be the target. Whoops. Whoop. And then we need to get return start position, which is the start. And this should work. We're also going to go ahead and hold on. Where's the on death? Where's the particle effect I use? I'm just going to spawn system at location. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go over to here and we're just going to reuse that for right now just to get a visual. Okay, so what a lerp does is it moves something. It moves a value. It determines a value between two different values based off of a percentage put in. So we have this return start position, which is the XYZ position of where the pieces started. And we have the target location, which is this actor, which is the enemy. And basically, depending on how this percentage, it will move, but from this position to this percentage every frame instead of update, and we'll set the actor to that location. And then we'll get there, we'll delete all of those spawned pieces, and we'll cause an explosion to try and hide it. And we'll see how this looks. I think it'll look okay. Before we do that, let's read some chat. Since the parts are physics-based, if you out of the room and over the stairs, can you stop the enemy from respawning? With this current setup right here, no. It'll just fly very quickly with no physics. It'll fly through walls and stuff. It'll fly very quickly to that return position. But that's not a terrible idea. Yeah, the dinosaur is easy, and so is the spider. Oh, that's really cool. You're making some Fortnite maps? TS2 is the best movie ever made. It is not my favorite movie, but it is my favorite Pixar movie. And probably my favorite Disney movie overall. My favorite Disney non-Pixar movie is Moana. I think it's incredible. Amazing story, beautiful animation. It's touching. Great music because it's made by the guy who did Encanto music. Of course, who's I forget his name, but he's like super great. He won't respawn, so this guy will. So let's see if it works. And it should be a second to fly the pieces back. Let's see. Whoa, it didn't work. Try again. He spawned. Hold on. Yeah, okay. So all this needs to happen after that, actually. So that was a bit silly of me, but that's okay. We're going to grab all of this, copy and paste, or delete. Okay, and once this is finished, Then we do all of this. I was wondering why. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Because basically I had it out of order where the enemy respawned before the pieces flew back. But see if this works out any better. All right, can I push the pieces? Let's see what happens. Well, the moving didn't work. I mean, he's still, like, the explosion hides him spawning already. And so I have an assumption that the body pieces flying will work as well. But I don't know why the body pieces aren't moving. Do I have the timeline set up correctly? Yeah, a second, and it moves to a value of 1, which is 100%. Whoops. What is alpha supposed to be from 0 to 1 or supposed to be like 0 to 100? Multiply by 100. And let's just see if it... This should not be how it works, but we're just going to see. Okay, that's good enough. That's a good question. Yeah, I set it up because otherwise it's going to cause all kinds of problems, and I couldn't have them like go around stuff. But so that'd be way too long to do during a live stream, and probably a bit too complicated because there's a lot of stuff. Yes, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I believe. Manuel Miranda. Yes, Miranda is composer of Moana. Incredible stuff. He's right there with the Lopez's who do Frozen. Yeah. Adding the sound effects would make... Do I not have the sound effects of it spawning? I may not, actually. I don't, actually. Yes, you're right. In fact, I think that is on. Enemy has died, and it plays the explosion. I don't play the sound, though. Right there. Is it on the test enemy? Well, there's apply damage, but no sound. Any damage. And there's enemy has died. Does it not make any noise when it dies? Did I not even program that at all? Let's see. I think it doesn't. Yeah, okay. So I don't even have a deaf sound for them. I need to add that. But I was wondering why I didn't see it. Oh yeah, sound effects for when the coins bounce, of course. But I need first to look at Vector 3 alert real quick on here. Let's see. Let's pull y'all back up. create a 3-point lerp. That's not what I'm looking for. Lerp vector unreal documentation. So linearly interpolates between A and B based on alpha. 100% of A. 0. Yeah, so it goes from 0 to 1. And then, so, am I multiplying right? I may not be multiplying right. That seems like what the issue would be. Hold on. No, not duration. I just want to read what you think this is. Every update. And then we send that to alpha. We're going to add a little debug here. And keep an eye on the top left, where near the health bar, there'll be text that appears for a moment. So that goes from 0 to 1. Okay. So that's expected. So that part's working. So is my return start position incorrect? Do I need to get the position of the static actors maybe? Let's see. What are y'all saying? Mini bounces and the sound effects play each time, like in the original. Yeah, I had just a few simple mini bounces real quick when Aqua brought it up, but not done more than that. Why is this? So this is working. We're grabbing the spawn piece actor to set its position. Oh, you know what? I'm actually not turning off their physics, by the way, beforehand. I need to do that, right? So real quick on here, that may actually be a possible reason, although I doubt it. Set physics mode. What's it called? Set physics mode. Is it in here? I don't remember what it is. Is it over here for me to look at as an example? Oh, collision. Collision, not physics. Duh. I'm totally looking for the wrong thing. Set collision enabled to no collision. That sounds like Ori music for a second. I don't think it is, though. But it sure sounded like it for a moment. I'm just kind of cleaning up a teeny bit real quick. I wonder if the static mesh position of these are different than the actor mesh. Like the component that has the actual mesh on it. I don't know. Oh, that's a great idea, Aqua, as well. Yeah, make it go away until it dies again. It'd also be cool to kind of have a way to know if you've collected a token from an enemy or not before you take it out. But I have no intention of making coins time out though. Absolutely none. Not for this game. But going back inside the enemy, maybe that would make some sense. Yeah, the flying robot is supposed to be hovering. I just haven't done that. I think all I have to do is set his movement mode to flying and turn off gravity, and I think it'll work. But I've not tried. But yeah, that's a known issue that I just never corrected yet. But let's try this. If this doesn't work, then I'm going to see if the static mesh of the actual body parts is different than what I'm collecting. It's kind of hard to explain. All right, so him. Hey, get back here. All right, let's move these pieces far away. Good enough. Okay. So what we're gonna do is set the position, get location, get world location of the component, and set the return position as that. And then we're going to get static mesh. And we're going to set world location on this. I could also teleport. And then we're also going to, I'll put a split path there, do that. Let's see if this is what is actually happening. Boom. Keep going. Hey! Although it should be way faster though. But that, okay, so I figured out the issue. So this needs to be like 0.3. Like it should be like really quick. And then the total time should also be 0.3. Look at that. It worked. But they really need the shaking beforehand to look good. Like just like vibrate for like a full second and then like charge back. Hey, okay, yeah. Although he is confused when he first respawns on his behavior tree, but that's okay. We can work with that. Get out of here. Very cool. All right, we got it working. That'd be cool. I think it'd be actually more interesting just to have like each enemy have like a glowing part that doesn't glow after the coin has been collected. So like for this guy, maybe like that yellow part of the, that's a Toy Story ball. Hold on, Kyle, you made the Toy Story ball on this guy? It is. I never realized that before. that's really fun. Wow. I can't believe I didn't notice that. Anyways, maybe the yellow here will glow, and then after the coin is collected, it doesn't glow anymore. It could be stuff like that. Let's see, or maybe just have their eyes light up and then light goes out. Yeah, see, we're about on the same page. I think this guy doesn't have any emissive. Oh, his eyes do glow. Okay, so yeah, his eyes glow. His eye doesn't glow, but it could easily. And then obviously like the boss does glow a bit. I remember here. I'm going to remove this kind of like cheat, by the way. Yeah, see both his top glows and his eyes. I'm also going to work on making this boss a little bit more exciting as far as like knowing where to charge at. Because right now he charges like where you'll be at if you're running away, but he should go all the way to like the other end. And then I also want to add a second stage to this fight. And obviously the way you're supposed to do this fight, you're supposed to charge. Boom. And I picked up the token because I landed underneath it. So I'd probably want to spawn it like maybe on that box where you're a lot less likely to get it and stuff. And then you have some smoke appear. Here we go. Yeah, I want to add a bunch more animations to everything. It's just, I just added this animation. Yeah, you can. Also, if you touch him, he goes flying. I don't know why he does that. I have no idea. Anyways, where I would like to get all these enemies animated a bit more, but yeah, I just don't have animator to help out, unfortunately. Kyle can do like basic animations, I believe, but it's not really what he's should be doing. Like he needs to be making art, and so because he's not an animator for one, so he can't make complex animations to like the level we would want timely. Whereas he can make like an asset in like a few hours if he had to, like a pretty simple asset in a few hours. Like this chair is like a couple hours of work, you know. So yeah, I'm glad we got that fixed. I'm gonna apply it to the jumping robot. But yeah, I think we're going to start wrapping it up there, I believe. Is there anything I want to see before I turn it off? Like anything in the game or... you can't see the level select because a chance of seizures for anyone who experiences that. I have not fixed the high LOD, low LOD version of stuff on that level, and it's really bad on that level. As far as like causing severe flickering. So you can't look at the level select, which is just the original assets, but it's still interesting to look at in Unreal 5. But I can show you anything else that y'all haven't seen yet, or if you're just curious what it looks like. Sasha, that's so nice. Do you have a Pokemon game you're working on? I would love to see it. Is it on your YouTube channel or what? I will also say, Sasha, that I did make a prototype. I never showed a video of it. This is like before Toy Story, like a few years ago, like probably 3 or 4 years ago. I made a prototype. Actually, I take that back. It was before new Pokemon Snap even. But I made a prototype of Pokemon Snap in Unity like several years ago. That was kind of fun. With like whole like camera shooting mechanic and stuff. He's an OG as well. Here for the first time, but this has given me so much joy. Oh, thank you, Sam. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting this to like this level that it is. Duct tape, hello. We have not done substantially more work yet. Kyle is finishing up a few level assets, and then he is going to be adding in a custom version, a new texture of Buzz Lightyear. And I'll kind of explain that real quick. That's kind of fun. Let's see. We want this. So basically, the way Buzz is set up is he has this material, and we have like stuff like emissives and stuff on here or whatever. And we have the texture. But he's going to make it to where Buzz is actually multiple textures instead of like just one. And he's going to make it grayscale. And what this will do is if we do it correctly, then we can set up in engine what color certain stuff should be. So like all green parts will be gray or should be white. And I can add a tint to it that's like red or something, or black or whatever. So we can actually color it in engine. And what this will do is it makes it to where I don't have to create these textures for every single one. I can just make a variant in engine and save a lot of time. I don't have to go to Photoshop or anything like that, which will help out a lot. So once we do that, we'll add more cosmetic palette swaps, and then we have like some ideas for like little costume add-ons, like Potato Head's hat for one. That'll be a super easy one because it's actually in there. It just needs something fixed on it real quick. But yeah, stuff like that. But this has to be done first before we do anything else cosmetic wise. That's kind of the plan. Okay. Sounds very cool. What if you could collect cassette tapes and bring them to Mr. Mike up there? And oh, you know what? So you sparked a little inspiration nugget for me. So would like to add a commentary to the game where in fact, by the way, we have tapes already in the project. So, like, we already have a mesh for them. But I do want to add, like, an audio commentary to the game. So it'd be cool to pick this up and then it play, like, an audio dialogue from me talking about a specific point in the game. Or, like, what we had to do to get that. Yeah, the Mrs. Nesbitt update, that needs to hurry up and get here. That's in the task list. It just hasn't been done yet. Yeah, and plus we already made Mr. Potato Head. That's a fully new mesh that Kyle made, completely from scratch. So and he looks really good. Like that's like really awesome. Look, there's some grass. You know, he looks awesome. And he's missing his ear obviously because it's upstairs, but. Yeah, and the way he's set up is, how do I open Blueprint Editor? Viewport. Okay, so here's what he looks like. And then we can just turn off any individual piece. And you won't see it here, but in the engine you will. But anyway, we can turn off any specific piece and we can make that a pickup. Like in level 1 where his right ear is missing, and when he gets it back he just reattaches it, so makes it really easy to add. See, there's his ear. So we could technically add any piece of Potato Head to Buzz, like his mustache, if we wanted to. Yes, we did consider adding holes to his ears, and we had actually already talked about that. We just hadn't done it yet. I cannot see y'all's chat right now. Hold on. Is it right here? Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll show level 2 one more time. For anyone who hadn't seen it, we've not done more work to it technically, but we are doing, I didn't change anything about the drill and the saw. I don't know why those want to be changed. Damage caused? We're going to say no. Okay. So we're doing foliage performance testing right now for level 2. So this is the original assets with the exception of new pickups and that's a new water shader technically, and like new lighting, And then obviously new foliage in here as well. So this is with 65,000 foliage meshes in the scene. And you can see here that the performance is like really good. By the way, 50 to 60 FPS in engine would equate to about anywhere between like 100 to 150 probably in build on my PC, which is not a super crazy PC. And it's also at 1440. So that's something else to consider. But yeah, you can see like it looks really good. I can activate my glow in the dark and it reacts to that. And this is just a test, so this is just quickly thrown in here on top of the grass texture. That's just the ground. But yeah, so this looks really good. So we're testing this out right now to check that out. Let me go back to chat. Okay, I can see all in the end. Yeah, where's the hole? Where's the hole for Potato Head? It's unfair. All right. I am using Unity version 5.3. So it was the latest version when I started. 5.4 came out right after. And then 5.5 is out now. But I don't want to upgrade to 5.5 because there's a lot of like differences that would break some of what I have. And also I have some... what am I trying to say? Plugins that I'm using that don't work in 5.5 yet anyways. But yeah. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it was something we'd already like talked about, and I think it just hasn't been done yet once we talked about it. Kyle has plenty of other tasks he's working on anyways. Yeah, and that's actually what kind of like ended my Fable project. I was waiting on a specific plugin. This plugin I'm capable of making at this point, and I kind of wish I just made it myself now. But basically, there was like some kind of art optimization thing that saved me like 100 hours. And when I moved from 5.0 to 5.1 in that project, it broke, and the person said that, hey, it's coming. All that's it's gonna work. Don't worry. And then he skipped like 5.1 and went straight to 5.2, and like 5.1 never got support or something. Oh, no. He went to 5.0 and 5.1 never got support or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but basically he never updated it to support what I needed. So I kind of wish I had just done that. Whatever. It's okay. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, and Mega Lights is like a huge thing. I don't really want to mess with Mega Lights at the moment in this project. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little nervous to use it when this project already looks like good as it does. So, yeah. I do have the speedrunner trick for the RC race in level 1, where you get on top of the car and you run around the top of it to hit the checkpoints. That technically works, so that's kind of cool. How I need to get it to where RC actually reacts to bumping into you. I need to actually rewrite RC because he needs to be like an actual driving system. I think rather than his current movement, because his current movement's really static, and so I just haven't spent a lot of time on it, unfortunately. But yeah. Yeah, the tire swinging slightly in the wind. That would be cool. It's a combo rope, so it's probably fine to swing. Actually, that'd be really easy to add. It wouldn't be an animation. It would be a timeline, which would be really efficient. Right now, this song is I don't have the name of it, but it's a Pokemon song, I believe. I don't remember what Pokemon song, but it is Pokemon, I believe. It's a playlist I'm playing right now. But yeah. Okay, house vehicles. All right, awesome. Well, I think we're going to end it here today. Thank y'all so much for hanging out Make sure to subscribe if you are not. You probably are, but if you are not, subscribe. If you want to join I have a Patreon link below and YouTube memberships. They're the same benefits, where you get access to videos early and you get access to the Discord if you join. So do that if you are interested. No pressure at all. I'm not really out here looking for money from y'all. I'm just, if y'all are interested, it helps pay for some of the maintenance cost of running the project. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. Hold on. I have the notification bell turned on. Thank you so much. That's really nice. It may be from Earthbound. You may be right. I don't remember. I haven't played Earthbound, but I know some of the music. Yeah, thanks for sharing. Have a good night. Awesome. Yeah, thank y'all. Y'all take care. All right. Bye.